Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Beneath the Ring podcast with me, Dan, and I am here with Scott. Hello, Scott.
Hello, one and all. Hope you're doing good. Our first real proper podcast doing this. Well, we did it a bit before, didn't we, Dan?
Yeah, we did it
Way
many
back
years ago. Many years ago, we recorded. But now
when.
we're back. We're back finally. WrestleMania 41. What a time to come back for, I feel.
It's crazy. There was a time when we wasn't back into wrestling ourselves. We took a break from it, and I got back into it about Royal Rumble for Mania 39, and you was a bit later, weren't you?
I think I was about the same. Yeah, WrestleMania 39, but then I did have a little bit of falling off. A few months between 39 and 40, and then ever since WrestleMania 40, or really the Royal Rumble leading up to WrestleMania 40, that's when I've got back into it fully. But yeah, we did podcasts years and years ago. This was like 2013, 2014. We did podcasts. A whole lot of things have changed in the WWE since then.
Yeah, near about 10 years, man. It's like crazy. About the time Punk was gone the whole time when we last did it. So absolutely insane. And now WWE's back with a vengeance, and here we are getting into it.
Hell yeah. Tonight we're going to be doing our predictions for WrestleMania 41, which is obviously next weekend. We are literally 1 week away from it. I'm very excited. I can't wait for it. I'm very excited. Even though, yes, this road to WrestleMania hasn't been absolutely amazing, I can feel WrestleMania. It feels WrestleMania season now. I feel it. I'm excited.
Yeah, definitely feel it for sure. It's one of those things where the build might not be very good, but the Mania might be memorable. I think a lot of people say that about Mania 31, where the build was crap. Everyone remembers Mania 31 as one of the top ones. So it could be the same case here, really. We'll have to see. But definitely getting those Mania vibes, yes.
Yeah, I feel like the matchups that we're getting, I think they definitely feel Mania worthy. So I think that helps as well a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Particularly the two main events, which I think might do a lot of the carrying of the whole show, but you never know. We'll see as it goes. But yeah, I think overall for this type of build, it's definitely not been one of the top builds, especially compared to the previous couple of years. There's definitely a few dud matches for sure that we'll talk about. But yeah, it's just that Mania vibe and that Mania season, especially with Triple H taking the helm. That makes it, it still feels electric, and can't wait to see the stage and just the crowd and everything. Is going to be amazing for sure.
I've seen because they're already building the stage. I've seen little photos that have leaked. We can't really tell what exactly it's going to be, but just sort of they're putting up like I don't know what you want to call them, but basically they're building just out the outside of it before they fill it all in, and you can tell this is going to be a huge stage. This is going to be a massive one. I feel like it's going to be sort of something similar to what we got at Mania 39. That's what I'm really hoping for. Anyway, we're in Las Vegas, bloody. It should be so good.
Yeah, better go all out with it with a theme like that. I'm trying to decide whether I want to see it beforehand or just wait until I see the actual show to see the stage. I'm not sure, but I'm very tempted. Very tempted.
Probably best to wait till the show, just because that's when all like the graphics will be up, the lights be up. You know what I mean? Because obviously, half the time you watch these leak sort of ones, it doesn't have any graphics on the screen, and it's like you don't get the full what it's actually going to look like on the night kind of thing.
Yeah, you just want it to hit you when you first see it. It's just like, oh my gosh, you just want to look at every little bit of detail as well.
Yeah.
Also want to note like the what do you call it? The graphics where you announce the matches on the card, where you see the giant poker cards and all that. Those look beautiful. Those CGI card announcements, those look bloody amazing, and that just adds to the feel of it all, of this Vegas theme. So that really helps.
Absolutely, absolutely. Just to give a little brief backstory on both of us and our fandom for wrestling, I'll do me first. Basically, I used to watch as a kid through the Attitude Era. I stopped watching when Stone Cold retired at WrestleMania 19. I can't remember why I stopped watching. I think it's just because Stone Cold retired and he was my guy back in those days. So I've stopped watching from then. And then for some reason, it was The Rock coming back for WrestleMania 27 was what got me back. I just saw it on social media that The Rock was back, and I was like, "Wait, what?" So I was like, "Oh, let me check out the promo that he does in the middle of the ring." And it grabbed me. It grabbed me. And then I was like, "Oh, who's this John Cena guy? I've heard of him. I remember him a little bit, but he's the top of the guy. Let's see this feud going on." And then next thing I know, I'm just watching Raw, SmackDown. And next thing I'm fully involved again. And then that lasted till about WrestleMania 34, I want to say. Somewhere around there. I was watching full time. I was watching all the time, all Raws, all SmackDowns. During
We
that
both
time
dropped
also,
around that sort of period, didn't we?
During that time,
Around,
I introduced Scott to wrestling. I introduced him. I think it was around about WrestleMania 28. Am I right there?
yeah, that's it. You got me into it, and it was during the build, the Mania 28. I still remember now. We was both in your bedroom watching on your old clunky computer, watching
Back in the
back in the day episodes, getting up to it. Gosh, that's like a lifetime ago.
Yeah, it was, but yeah. So I sort of fell out of it just because of the booking, and it was mainly the Roman Reigns push when they were pushing him as the big dog, the big baby face, the replacer of John Cena. That drove me away because we had so many years of John Cena at top, and then we got Roman Reigns. They were pushing him the exact same way, and I didn't like it. So after that, about WrestleMania 34, I ended up stopped watching. I would watch the odd thing. I would watch the odd pay per view. I watched every Mania. We watched every. I think even you did. We watched every Mania, but. Yeah, I didn't really get back into it until, as I said, between WrestleMania 40 on the build up to WrestleMania 40. That's when I came back full time. I was in and
I've
out
skipped a
during the.
couple of Manias myself during the way. I think I've stopped watching it 2 times
Yeah,
since Mania 28. There was 2 dips. I think we both felt that. I think Mania, like you said, Mania 34, and I think Mania, the first Mania after COVID was that 37. I think
yeah, because
around that time.
I know I was watching it Mania 36 because I did a reaction video because we rebranded Beneath the Ring again, but I did it myself for a little bit, and yeah, I did like a reaction video. I remember I did like a podcast. I was doing in like YouTube videos basically, and yeah, I did a reaction to 36, and that was the time when I was doing my retro reviews when I started watching Raw from the very beginning. Okay, I already did a
I
few
remember that.
episodes of them, but yeah. So I remember watching 36. I definitely remember watching that. As I said, I remember watching every WrestleMania, but I don't remember. I definitely weren't fully invested until Mania, the lead up to Mania 40. I was definitely involved with Mania 39 as well. I remember that, and I watched all the way till literally late 2023. That would have been, wouldn't it? Yeah, late 2023. I watched all the way up to then, and then I just got a bit bored. And then that like during the time when Cody and Jey Uso were tag champions. I weren't watching during that moment. But I did started watching, obviously, leading up to WrestleMania 40. And then, I became addicted. I've got that bug again. But yeah, so Scott, tell them a little bit about how you got into wrestling and, yeah, your ins and outs.
Yeah, it's kind of like you alluded to there. I got in around the build to Mania 28. I knew nothing about pro wrestling. I knew Hulk Hogan, and that was pretty much it. I didn't really know anything about wrestling because we're in the UK, and obviously the times of when the shows were on, it was deep in the late of night, so didn't really know anything about it. But then you kind of just introduced me and showed me stuff, showed me bits of the build for Rock and Cena 28, and then just started getting into it more and more. We watched plenty together. I remember coming around to your house, Dan, like nearly every pay-per-view. I was watching it around yours, and then we just talk till the late hours about it. But yeah, you helped me get the bug myself, getting into it. Of course, it wasn't the highest peak for me to start getting into it because it was kind of like you said, a bit of a darker time. It was during the Cena days where he was really taking over it and all that, and just the worst of Vince's kind of booking. Of course, there was plenty of good stuff like The Shield and all that, like we watched. When I got into it, it was pretty much close to just before The Shield came about. So that's been really cool to see all those three guys' journey up to this point. But yeah, I think it was like you said, I think it was around Mania 34 where he started dropping out of it, where it was just getting too bad and nonsensical and just terrible television. So we didn't really want to watch it. And then I think we just stayed in tune for the Manias. I think Mania 36 was the triple threat women's main event, I think, wasn't it?
I think that's 35.
I think it was. Was that 35? I remember we all just felt dead
was
by the end of that one.
36 was the first two night Mania. It was the pandemic one where they did it in front of no one.
That's right.
But yeah, 35. Yeah, I remember that because I think did we watch that together? I think you came round for that.
Yours,
yeah, it was like a 5.5, 6 hour show, and by the time it finished, we were just like in bed.
I can't remember anything else other than us being completely dead by the end of the show. Hence, splitting it into 2 hours. Yeah, and then watched it again for Mania for 36, and then kind of just dropped off and missed 37 and 38. Although I remember you showing me clips of bits like matches like Kevin Owens and Stone Cold and that. But then only really got back into it Royal Rumble 39 when Sami Zayn turned on the Bloodline and hit Roman with that chair shot, and that was a great way for me to get back into it. That I was like, oh, that gripped me. Let's see where we go from here. And then it's just kind of been into it non-stop ever since, which has been really cool. It's obviously a lot more refreshing than what it used to be, and now that it's under Triple H, it feels a lot more coherent, consistent. Obviously, not that there isn't issues, but it's a lot better than it used to be. So and not long after you got back into it, Dan, and we've just been in sync and just enjoying the ride ever since. So about over a decade now of me off being into wrestling, but always like trying to learn more about the past and the Attitude Era and all that. And you've showed me the odd match down ever since, like every now and again. And obviously Stone Cold's your favourite, and for damn good reason. It was Punk, CM Punk, around when I first got into it. He was my favourite wrestler that really got me into wrestling. So seeing him come back, especially around the time that we've got back into it now, it's just been absolutely crazy. So that's my history with it, and looking forward to the future and what we're going to see from now on.
Absolutely. I'm very excited for Mania. The other thing I will say, just to give a brief insight, because I think it might come up a few times, is AEW. With AEW, when it first started, I was all over it. Loved it, absolutely loved it. Obviously, it was just like a fresh alternative to what Vince was doing in WWE. yeah, it was just completely different, and it was so good for about a year, maybe 2 years. I think I was watching it for regularly every
Yeah,
Dynamite. Um,
at the very
yeah, it
least, the
was.
first couple of years was the hottest. Yeah,
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was still what I definitely was watching when Punk come into it. I can't remember when I stopped watching, but eventually, again, I might have just been burnt out of wrestling or something like that. But again, I just ended up stop watching. And also, I have some major issues with AEW, and I'm sure they'll be brought up a few times through our podcasts. But yeah, it's just ended up sort of drifting away from it. I'd watch the odd pay per view here and there. Um, but then, last summer, Scott got me back into it because we got tickets for All In from last year. And for the few months before All In came, I ended up watching weekly just so I understood the characters, the stories, all the lead up to All In. And I had a hell of a time. I thought that the book in there was amazing up until All In. Maybe not absolutely amazing. I'm sure there was bits and pieces I didn't really enjoy. But I enjoyed the build up. We went there, had an amazing time at All In. And then about 2 months later, I ended up stopped watching because I had massive issues with AEW, and Scott's heard all about them. Yeah, as I said, I'm sure I will dive into them throughout these podcasts, and you'll see why I have these issues with AEW. But Scott is actually a bigger fan of AEW than I am. So, Scott, tell us your past with AEW.
didn't take you long to drop off after All In, for good reason, for sure. I remember us both of us getting into AEW when it first started and watched. I think we were consistently watching it for at least a year, maybe two, and it did plenty of it was a lot more better and polished back then. I mean, one of the most memorable times was when we watched. I think it was Revolution. Watched that together. We watched Hangman and Kenny versus the Young Bucks for the tag belts, and that was just absolutely amazing match.
Just to let everyone know before you continue, that match, that Hangman Kenny match versus the Young Bucks, is my favourite tag match of all time. So AEW does have some things there, but yeah, that match was absolutely fantastic. Yeah, my favourite tag match of all time.
Yeah, I remember us marking out for that match. That was so good. Yeah, it's from AEW, so it has potential for sure. And yeah, there's been plenty of good stuff coming from it. But yeah, I think there was just a time we was both tuned out of it for a number of reasons. Inconsistencies in booking and any titles and other stuff that I'm sure will be brought up in due course. And then I did get into it a little bit later on, again, when Punk came into it and was watching MJF and Punk, and they had some of the best promo exchanges I've ever seen, as you'd expect nothing less from those two. But it was still hard to fully grip into it after that, with everything outside of that still not really hitting home. And then I decided to give that another try, and I'm still watching it up to this point. When did I get back into it? I think it was All In before last All In, so Adam Cole versus MJF, the main event of All In that year. I watched that and then been watching it ever since, or better or worse. And right now I'm feeling quite low in it because just came off of the last pay-per-view, Dynasty. And yeah, that's one of the worst pay-per-views they've ever done, ever. Period. So not doing too good at the moment, but trying to hang in there and see where it goes. But yeah, I'm sure there'll be naturally some mentions of AEW in our conversations, just for the sake of comparison and stuff like that. But yeah, that's my history with AEW for the moment. Hanging in there. hanging in there.
Yeah, absolutely. As everyone sees on my TikTok, I'm solely focused on WWE, but that's because I'm not watching AEW at the moment. No point in me actually giving my 2 cents into AEW if I'm not watching it, because I feel like there's a bit out of order for me to do. So one day maybe I'll delve into more of the AEW stuff, but I just need to know they're doing better. And Scott keeps me updated almost every episode what's going on, and yeah, to me, I don't sound right. It doesn't sound too interesting to me, unfortunately.
It does have potential. I mean, last year, like you said, we both attended All In when it was here in the UK. We was in the audience, and that was just a hell of a time. We really enjoyed that. A part of that might be because when you're actually in the arena, you really feel the electricity of it. So it doesn't matter what show you'd be at. But yeah, and the build for that was good as well. It's like thought it was it did a really good job there, and was really feeling it like MJF and Will Ospreay and Swerve and Bryan Danielson. And Daniel Bryan is one of Dan's favorite ever wrestlers. So that was all great stuff. But yeah, it just has massive inconsistency issues, and we just wish it could stay consistently good like it did during that point. But at least we had that time, and that was a fun time. And we might see it again when they come here next year, maybe, if the prices are affordable. But yeah, we'll just have to see how it goes, I guess.
Absolutely, I would definitely go back again, even if I didn't know the build up or anything. It's just, as you said, yeah, when you go to just a wrestling event, it's just the atmosphere, everything. Ever since All In, I've been to two other events ever since. Obviously, three ever since August. I went to All In, and then I went to a WWE house show when it was at the O2, and then I went to this real super indie show at my local community hall, which I enjoyed all three, obviously for very different reasons. But yeah, just going to the shows, it's just grips you. I will say, I love it. I love going to shows. So yeah, definitely, if All In comes back next year, I highly doubt they're the ridiculous prices that WWE is setting nowadays. So I definitely, even if we, because when we went to All In, we were way up in the nosebleeds or above the nosebleeds, whatever you want to call them, in the stadium. We were right at the top, but I still had a hell of a time, even being all the way up there. So I'll definitely do that again for sure.
Definitely, for sure, yeah. So it doesn't matter which type of show it is. It could be the big leagues like WWE or All In, or it could be a small indie wrestling show. You still feel the vibe, electricity, just getting into the hype of it.
And also your front row. That's what I love. I was front row, and every wrestler came out. The faces, every single one came around to high five you, and the heels would come around, like just having to go at the crowd. I remember there was one heel guy. He looked a bit like Bray Wyatt. And when he came out, I went, this is my man. And I put my hand down. He went, you go away from me, get away. It was good. It was good. And then my little daughter, she shouted something at him during the match, and he was like, "Shut up, little girl." So obviously, the good thing about one of those small, tiny indie shows is it's very personal. Like, obviously, the wrestlers will interact with you and stuff like that. So yeah, I love it. Love it.
Oh yeah, and even more so, it's like one of the best things of it all is like you could be watching the next big stars coming to WWE, and that you just never know, do you? You could be someone just before reaching that potential. You saw, you met was it Kevin Owens? Did you?
Yeah, I went to an indie show in 2014, I think it was. I went to a Rev Pro. I'm sure a lot of wrestling fans, if you know your indie people or indie promotions, you know who Rev Pro is. So I went to a Rev Pro event, I think in 2014. It was summer of 2014, and yeah, Kevin Owens, aka Kevin Steen, he was there. Also Finn Balor, aka Prince Devitt, he was there. Adam Cole was there, and also Shinsuke Nakamura was there. I didn't have a clue who Shinsuke Nakamura was at that time because I don't watch New Japan Pro Wrestling, so I didn't know who he was. Still got an autograph from him and all that, but I didn't know who he was. But yeah, it was a very good event actually. That was, but yeah, it was good to meet these people before they went to the WWE. It's crazy.
That is crazy. The fact that you just met those guys and you had no idea what was going to happen in the future. You didn't know how far these guys were going to go.
Exactly.
You just knew there were big guys in the indie scene. That must feel very surreal for you, which is another good reason to go to indie shows and like that. And like you said, just that interaction and just that vibe. Like you can just interact with the wrestlers and that. So cool. I know one of our big things we want to do is like on our bucket list is to go to a Mania, but my gosh, the prices! My gosh, it just feels like unbelievable. Even for one night, had to save up big for that. Jeez, and even then it'd be in the nosebleeds.
Yeah, even if they come to London, like they promise it all the time that they're coming to London, it's just God knows that we'd definitely go, but God knows that where we'd be. We'd be right, probably the top seat somewhere, but it'd be worth it.
Seen them mention it Money in the Bank pay-per-view or something a couple of years ago. Or the year before.
Cracked me out. I saw somebody online saying, they were in London a couple of weeks ago. That's where we had the face-to-face with Cody and Cena. It cracked me up. Somebody said, the last time he was in London, he announced, he said that we all deserve WrestleMania. He should come out now and go, you don't deserve WrestleMania. Shame he didn't do it, just to reference back to the last time he was in the UK. But that would have cracked me up.
That'd be brilliant. Screw you on that. I was messing with you. Oh, that'd be so good. Screw you, London. I'm out of it. Oh well. I mean, there's probably a lot of things he could do as a heel that's just been lingering over the years, sort of. But yeah, I'm sure we'll talk about that when we get into it.
Hell yeah. So let's, I think I mentioned it, but yeah, this podcast, the main thing about it will be our WrestleMania 41 predictions, and we'll be moving on to that just in a sec. I just want to just quickly talk about this build to Mania. I'll go first. I don't think it's been that great. There has been like some moments, don't get me wrong, some segments that have been really good. But unfortunately, it just doesn't really, especially after last year, it doesn't really feel like a proper WrestleMania, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't feel like we've got anything outside of the big couple of matches. Everything else seems to be quite rushed, or there's just not much thought been put into the feuds. It just seems like they're just sort of, a lot of the times they're just getting by. Oh, we announced the match and then we won't do much else with it. We'll just announce it and hope the match will sell the match rather than actually give a good personal story to them. Yeah, it's not
all
been
based on name value.
Yeah, it's not been that amazing. Like me and Scott spoke about many times with obviously Jey Uso and Gunther. Like the whole thing with that is it's been building since Royal Rumble, but that's like been 10 weeks, I believe, and they've seemed to only have a couple of weeks worth of proper build between the two to play out between these 10 weeks.
That's crazy.
But it seems like they've done a little bit at the beginning. The first couple of weeks when Jay was looking to see who he was going to face, and he said he's going to face Gunther. Those were pretty good promos. They were obviously important to the story. And then we had a couple of weeks where Gunther would go and fight Alpha Academy, and then Jay would fight A-Town Down Under. And this was just to delay weeks until we got to finally these last couple of weeks where it's been really good stuff. It's just seems like they've been doing that with a lot of these. Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte, like all they've been doing is attacking each other. Like there's not really been much else apart from these odd little interactions where they're going off scripts and stuff. But outside of that, it just seems like there's nothing else really put to the story. Obviously, Cody and Cena. Our issue was that there was only going to be 3 appearances, but apparently Cena will be there, or they have announced him. He's going to be there on SmackDown next week, so at least we get another appearance. But again, at the moment, there's plot holes in that story with The Rock. I'm sure we'll get into it, obviously, a lot more when we actually talk about these matches. But yeah, I feel like there's a lot of... it just seems like, they're just going off name value rather than actually building up stories at the moment. They don't really care about the story. They just announce the name value and then they're like, oh, yeah, we'll add these little drop of nuggets here and there, but we'll get there eventually and then people will be hot for it.
Oh, come on, don't lie, son. You loved Jey Uso facing A-Town down under. That was your high point of the whole build.
Yeah,
you
that was
loved
much.
War Raiders and the New Day build.
No, yeah, that Jay versus that Jay squashing Austin Theory was so much better than
he fallen far from grace.
that was so much better than the segment with Gunther beating up Jimmy while Jay was tired. Like, I would rather see Jay squash Austin Theory any day.
Gunther versus Tozawa was better than the latest Cody Rhodes and Cena exchange easily. But yeah, I mean, just to really get off the back of that, really, I just feel the same thing. Really, it's especially more egregious for the Jey Uso and Charlotte matches because they've had the most time out of all of them, which could be against them really, because maybe WWE at the moment just can't handle really long builds, which, well, that seems to be a definite thing at the moment. That definitely seems to be a flaw currently with Triple H at the moment, that he doesn't have that sort of foresight. Although it's weird with him, in some areas it could be overly long-term booking where it's like just dragging stuff out, and then you have a case like this where you have a set number of weeks, like 10 weeks, and it feels like you haven't done anything for like 3/4 of them. So there is issues with how things are planned out for sure. Definitely one of the weaker builds for sure. And the last couple, 39 and 40, have been very good. But let's not pretend like there wasn't dud matches or filler matches on those as well. Was it Mania 39? Was it Karrion Kross and the Authors of Pain versus Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits? I think that only lasted like 7 minutes or something.
No, I remember AOP. That was last year.
Was that last year? Jesus. Mm-hmm. I still remember AOP being defeated by just an over-the-top rope dive. Was it Montez Ford? And that was it. We never saw them again. So it's just like defeated by an over-the-top rope dive. So yeah, all Manias have like their weak matches and that, but it just seems to stick out, especially more on this build. It just feels like so many of the matches. It feels like the main events, quote unquote main events for both nights, seem like the standout ones. And like you said, even Cody and Cena has its flaws as well, because that feud has felt more like a rap battle promo style rather than a story. It's more there for the exchanges rather than building an actual story. I think the Roman triple threat has been the actual best story built match of the whole card, like things advancing, reaction to certain events going on, seeing an actual story develop. All the other matches are a lot weaker in this regard. I mean, we'll get into them, of course. Priest and McIntyre, that has history, of course. But yeah, a lot of them feel very weakly put, very weak in how they've been put together, and it really shows. Again, the night itself, the two nights themselves could really kick ass and really stand out, and we get a great Mania. But just it really shows like this build the last several weeks, particularly since Elimination Chamber. It's been not very well thought out at all. A lot of dragging out. And it only feels like within the last few weeks have they really just woken up and realised, oh shit, we have a Mania to book. We better turn it up a notch. And we've just been, grinding our heels waiting for that. So yeah, definitely issues in that regard. But hopefully, at this point there's only one Raw and 2 SmackDowns left, so there's not really much else. I think they can add to it that's gonna make it go, oh my god, mind blowing build. So we're just kind of putting our stock in the show now, and hopefully it gives us a memorable one. But that's kind of my feel of the build up to this point.
Yeah, absolutely. As I said, I'm sure we'll get into it more personally every single match we go through when we do our predictions. So yeah, should we get into the predictions now then?
Sounds good to me. Why not?
Okay, let's do this. So night 1, we're taking this off of Wikipedia. So if you want to follow the listing that we follow, it is Wikipedia, the WrestleMania 41 page. So we're going to go with night 1. The first match we're going to talk about is Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair. So this match, I think the build for this, as I said, has been a bit very, very messy. Basically, it's one of those long ones. It's been building since Royal Rumble, and for a while, all it was Tiffany would have a match, and then Charlotte would attack her after. Tiffany have a match, Charlotte attack her after, and then they had that weird face-to-face promo, not face-to-face, that weird sort of interaction where they're on both sides of the screen, and a lot of people felt that Charlotte really made Tiffany look bad in that promo. I don't really remember it, to be honest. It didn't really have much of an impact on me, but I remember a lot of people complaining during that time that she made Tiffany look bad. They should have done that promo. And then obviously they had the famous going off the script promo where
I'm surprised by how famous that segment has gotten now.
And it's just the final bit of it, like the whole what are you now, 3-0, and then why is Kaiser in my DMs? It just cracked me up. But the build ain't been great. In this SmackDown, Tiffany was attacked outside of the parking lot. It's one of those videos where you only find it on social media. And then I did actually, because I've not finished SmackDown, so I don't know. I think Tiffany has a match, don't she? And then again, probably just get attacked after by Charlotte. You could tell me, is that what happened?
Yeah, she faced Roxanne Perez, and ain't seen anything from her, or on NXT or Mania or anything like that. But yeah, it basically went like that. Tiffany won, and then Charlotte went to attack her, and then I've seen a bunch of times, particularly in this build, a bunch of guys comes out and separates and it's like, whoa, back away. And they ended like that, Charlotte on top.
Okay, so I'll end up watching that tomorrow. So it's basically just another exact same repeated from the last few weeks. That's the other issue I have with this build. Is there's a lot, well, really with Triple H's booking, is there's a lot of repeats. Oh, we've done this last week, we'll do it again this week, just slightly different. But yeah, so actually the match, predicting the actual match, Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair. It's really, I'm going my head or my heart. My heart wants it to be Tiffany. I think Tiffany should win straight up. But for some reason, I've got a feeling that Charlotte Flair's winning. I think, and this is, if Charlotte Flair is winning, there's only one way I'll be okay with it. If it's all to lead up to a rematch where Tiffany beats Charlotte, whether it's sort of like just to build basically Tiffany's character up a little bit more. I'll be okay for that if they do that, and it's like Charlotte beats her, and then she's like, "Oh, you can't beat me, Tiffany," and then Tiffany has to work harder, train harder, mature, and then she ends up beating Charlotte at SummerSlam or something. I'd be okay if that's where they're going to go, if Charlotte's going to win. But outside of that, yeah, I don't know how I'd feel if Charlotte wins and that's a one and done. I mean, don't see anything else from it. So I'm going to say my prediction Unfortunately, I think I'm going to say Charlotte. I think Charlotte's going to win. That's my prediction. What's yours, chap?
Unacceptable. Unacceptable for Charlotte to win. There's just an insult, an absolute slap in the face for Charlotte. I could not stand her to be champion for a few months, even if it's for the sake of building Tiffany up. Love of God, I couldn't take it. I couldn't. It's like so bad. I mean, I don't take away that Charlotte is a good wrestler for sure. One of my favorite women's matches ever was Mania 39, which was Charlotte and Rhea Ripley. They absolutely killed it there. But character and promo wise, it just feels awful. And it's kind of like what a lot of people say. It feels like Charlotte's in there for herself. Doesn't feel like she puts people over. She's just there to do her own business. It doesn't feel like she really helps other wrestlers get over. And you can really feel that here in this build, where it feels such a chunk of it was Charlotte getting one up and dominating promos, and it takes an off-script promo for Tiffany to really sound like she's, getting one up on her and making Charlotte so desperate to say that Kaiser was in her DMs. We all know Kaiser is not in Charlotte's DMs when he's dating Tiffany Stratton. It's just no way whatsoever. But for some reason, this horrific segment where they went off script kind of got me into the match a little bit more. I know I'm way in the minority with that, but there's just something about it having actual real heat between the two that makes it more interesting. Because on script, it's just terrible. Don't really care. Not giving us anything really, any good substance to bite into. But when there's actually real heat there and actually just hating on each other, that makes it a bit more, interesting. I wonder if that will reflect in the match or not. Probably not, but you never know. So kind of in a muffed up sort of way, that's makes it more interesting to me. But completely understandable on why the most it wouldn't be. It was an absolute train wreck of a segment. And then of course there was a promo segment before where Charlotte was completely just laying in and talking over Tiffany, not letting her get any words in, and it just made Tiffany look like such a novice. And then I guess the week after that, when Tiffany just had her own segment, that was WWE realizing, oh shit, Tiffany looks actually pretty bad here. We better do some damage control for this. But yeah, considering this is since the Royal Rumble, just absolutely terrible. Just a lot of filler that you barely remember. A lot of just like Charlotte taking over. Nothing really of interest, and not in a good way. The only things that you really take away from it is in the bad sense. So not a good build at all. I don't know why Charlotte had to win. I mean, we said for the longest this was going to be a match, Tiffany and Charlotte, so I get it. But in hindsight now, it just doesn't feel like worth giving Charlotte the Royal Rumble win. In terms of a prediction, absolutely want Tiffany to win it. I could understand the idea of it letting Tiffany losing to build her up to regain the title at SummerSlam, but it just doesn't feel worth it to me if it means Charlotte being champion. And plus, it'd be a good notch on Tiffany's belt if she wins at Mania and retains beating Charlotte. But as time's gone on, it has been worrying everyone, saying more and more that Charlotte's going to win it. So that's making me nervous for sure, and not in the good kind of way. It's like Cena during his height of his reign. It's just like, oh, isn't it fun? Like you just the excitement of maybe Cena losing. No, I just don't want him to win. It's like don't enjoy those matches at all. And it's kind of the same sense here, the bad kind of enjoyment. I hope for a really good match though. I'm sure it'll be a really good match, like Charlotte and Rhea. That's what I at least hope for. But yeah, I'm going with Tiffany and see what happens there.
Yeah, I think the big thing and the big issue with Charlotte is the fact that all she ever does is she comes, wrestles for the title, wins the title, loses the title, then disappears for ages. And then she
Every
comes
time she
back.
appears, it's for a title. That's it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, then she comes back, immediately gets a title match, and then wins the belt, holds it for a few months, loses it, and disappears. And then she'll come back,
Yeah.
get the title, go back. That's the issue. Is as soon as we knew Charlotte was in the Royal Rumble, we knew she was going to win it. But I feel like she didn't have to win it. Like the thing is, she didn't have to win that because you could have done it some other way. So if she'd face Tiffany at Mania, you didn't have to go the Royal Rumble route. But yeah, it's. I feel like you could have had a much better feud than what it is here. It's come out as like quite unprofessional and really messy. It's not even been a good it's not been a good feud. It's just, as I said, it's just been attacks after a match, and then every time they've had a promo back and forth, they go off script. And they just make each other look like shit. They don't look like... I don't know if it's a Charlotte issue. I don't know what the issue is. Clearly, I feel like they don't like each other backstage, which obviously might bring some good moments in the actual match itself. I do think the match will be good. Charlotte is a good wrestler, and it makes sense why you would go this route. It's sort of like Tiffany's a younger Charlotte. I get it. I get why you would go this route. But I don't know. It's just the feud itself, I feel like the build-up has let down the match. And now, when you see Charlotte out there, she gets booed out the building. It's even worse than what Dom gets. But I don't feel like it's a play-along kind of booing.
She
It's
gets more boos than Dom at this point.
but I don't feel like it's playing along. Like Dom gets a playing along booze. I feel like Charlotte is... It's
go
literally,
away.
yeah, it's literally get out of... Like, we don't want you here. We don't want you in this spot. Go away. I don't like what they need to do is get Charlotte in a feud that's not for the title, because that's all she ever does. Give her a smaller feud. Give her somebody else. I don't understand it.
The entire time since I've gotten back into it, like I said, Rumble before 39, every time I've seen Charlotte, it's been around the title picture. Like there's not one time where it has not been for a title, which goes to show that even when we're outside of Vince and under Triple H, it's scary how much pull she might have backstage. I don't know. Is she just riding on her dad's coattails? I don't know. I don't know what it is. I mean, you can have backstage heat and turn it into something good. I mean, for example, Seth Rollins actually does not like CM Punk. He's not a fan of the guy. And yet they turned that into something great and use having the likes of them two and Drew have some of the best segments like last year, and it's even led all the way to Mania now. So there's a professional way to do it, and these two, like you said, aren't handling it professionally. I mean, for crying out loud, Alexa Bliss had more praise and cheers at the Royal Rumble appearing than Charlotte, and ain't doing anything with Alexa Bliss, and yet we got to deal with this with Charlotte Flair. I do not understand it. I don't know why. Charlotte must have some pull, I tell you.
Yeah, it definitely seems like. And don't get me started with Alexa Bliss and the White Six. God knows where they are. Like they should be on this. They should be on Mania, but we're doing F all with them.
Catering.
And I feel like, obviously, I do feel like we'll probably see them after Mania. That's when the story will start with the White Six and Alexa. But yeah, it's just annoying that we're not getting anything from them for Mania. And the White Six has still not been on a PLE. Like, it's still not done anything with them. Just Raw matches on the odd occasion. Crazy. So the next match is Gunther versus Jey Uso. You want to go first this time, chap?
Uso, yeah, let's go for it. Gunther versus Jey Uso kind of falls into the same sort of trap as Tiffany and Charlotte. Like I said previously, probably these two matches are the most egregious in terms of this build, just because they're the Royal Rumble winners and they've had the longest build time for two championship belts, and they're just coming up short and not booked nearly as well as they could do. And it's the same instance here. Just so much filler. And like we said earlier, just with A-Town Down Under and then Alpha Academy. And, you know, we've seen this sort of stuff before where you just have like sub opponents during a build just to keep things going until the pay-per-view. I guess that's particularly the case with Mania, because usually Mania builds are longer. My gosh, it's just all the stuff with Alpha Academy being buddies with Jey Uso, and then every week Jey just going, they keep doubting me. It's like, ain't no one doubting you, Jey. Like, everyone knows you're going to win this thing. And then they were incorporating his botches into the storyline, thinking it's just like mind games. And the fact that they had to rely on that kind of shows they had no real plan to begin with. They had to rely on that for story. But naturally, like a lot of these feuds in the last couple of weeks, it's really picked up. I guess it kind of really started with that Jimmy slap to Gunther. Like, whoo! What a slap. Probably one of the best slaps I've ever seen. To a trolling Gunther, naturally. And then, of course, the big segment that's really selling this feud. The destruction of Jimmy, Gunther wiping his blood all over himself. A lot more shocking than WWE compared to AEW, who bleed every pay-per-view a lot of the time. This is a good way to use blood. Even Gunther tasting it a little bit and spitting it out. Jeez. What made me laugh, especially during that segment, was Gunther like yelling to Jey, "You're a pussy," just out of nowhere. That just got a good chuckle out of me. But naturally, this is the sort of stuff we wanted all through the build. When Gunther said he was going to make his life a living hell, just putting him in a sleeper every week wasn't really what I envisioned. This is the kind of stuff I envisioned with Jimmy. I even thought maybe he could go after Sammy when he's in hospital or something, and go like sneak in and like just come after Sammy and beat him up there. You know, get a little innovative with it, do stuff outside of the show, go to different areas, sort of thing. Kind of a little bit of that last year with, what was it, LA Knight and AJ Styles, where I think LA Knight went to AJ Styles' house. You want that sort of stuff, especially for a Mania build. No, been given very little to work with, and this is the sticking point for the feud, really. Now it feels like Gunther's making Jay's life a living hell. And then Jay gave that terrific promo afterwards, saying a light bulb awoken in his head, and he was no longer afraid of Gunther. And it's like, pray to God, pray for me, for the man I'm about to become. Like, hard-hitting stuff, man. Really good. Still think Jimmy's the better promo, but Jay can be a good promo when he needs to be. So, yeah, that's really the crux of the story. And if it was a normal pay-per-view of a few weeks, we would have said this feud was golden. But for a Mania build and a Royal Rumble winner, Jay, no less, it's not only left the build flat, but it's also left main event Jey Uso possibly being match opener Jey Uso instead. Could be the first match for night one, all we know. In terms of prediction, I think most of us are going with Jey Uso. I think it's pretty obvious, really, it's going that way. It'd be kind of weird if it didn't, to be honest. I mean, I don't mind Gunther retaining and being champion. A lot of people don't want Jey to be champion after this build because they think he's a waste of a Rumble win. Which I kind of think might be a bit unfair. I think it's just the booking has just been terrible. It just hasn't given them much to work with. But Jay botching hasn't helped his case, to be honest. I think it should be a terrific match. I think they'll really play into the emotion of it. But yeah, just not a good build. But I'm naturally going with Jay on this one. How about you, chap? What would you say?
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I think Jey Uso's winning. Yeah, it's the only thing that really makes sense. The thing I will say is Jey Uso winning the Royal Rumble. I loved it. I think it's what I want the Rumble to be when somebody's on like a hot streak, which Jey is, especially with the in-arena crowd. Like everyone's eating, and even on social media, you just see so many people doing the eating stuff, and like it's hot. It's hot. You might as well go with that. Whoever's hot at the moment, give them the Rumble. We wanted this to happen with LA Knight. We wanted this to happen with LA Knight a couple of years ago with Money in the Bank, but they didn't give him Money in the Bank. Like this is what I feel like the Rumble should be, to bring the next guy up. You know what I mean? Whoever's hot, give him a chance, kind of thing. One thing you did say to me, and I think everyone kind of agrees, is they need to change their term when they say the Royal Rumble winner gets the main event at Mania. They should just change it
Definitely.
to. They should just change it to. The winner of the Royal Rumble gets a world title match at Mania. That's really still sounds good because it's a world title. You know what I mean? So I don't know. They should just change it up though, because the main events, the
It
amount
just
of
sounds
times,
stupid when she says that. It's like,
yeah,
well, main event, WrestleMania. It's like, you ain't main eventing anything. Especially there's been so many Mania winners who haven't main evented.
exactly,
They just need to
exactly.
change that.
Exactly, yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, it's just like the amount of times people haven't actually main evented Mania when they said that they're going to main event Mania. But yeah, hopefully they do change. Maybe next year they'll change the term. Probably not, because it's always been that. But I would change it to do the winner of the Royal Rumble will get a world title shot at WrestleMania. That's what I would change it to.
Still sounds good to me.
But yes, the feud itself, as I explained before, yes, it's too long. It was a too long feud, and then they got into the rut of, we still got another 7 weeks, 6 weeks. What do we do? Oh, let's just add Alpha Academy in. Oh, let's just add A-Town Down Under. If this was a 5 week build or 6 week, whatever, if it was like a much shorter feud, I think this would have been a great feud. But unfortunately, I feel like they've not had enough material to do a 10 week build, and they've sort of relied on, let's just do sort of a filler week for a couple of weeks to get by. And unfortunately, it seemed to have hurt the feud. A lot of people, have
They just
turned on
relied on
Jay.
yeet for the shake of it. They're just like yeet, and that's it. They thought that would carry the entire feud, and you thought people would just be yeeting all the time.
Unfortunately, it turned people on Jay, which is a shame, because although when he did win the Rumble, there was still a lot of outcry of people not liking him, but that was mainly because of his WrestleMania match last year against Jimmy, which, yes, it weren't the best match of the night, but I don't think it was like the worst thing anyone's ever seen, how a lot of people act, but that's just my personal opinion on that match. I thought it told it told a solid story. Yeah, it was just mainly super kicks, but I thought it told a solid story. But you're right. I wouldn't be surprised if this opens the show. It makes sense. Is the most over guy, get the whole audience doing the eating thing when they got the most energy. Like, it makes sense to me.
Definitely.
And open up hot and open up with Jay winning, and then everyone could eat while he's got the title, and then move on to the rest of the night. I think Jay. If Gunther wins, don't get me wrong, I would be shocked. I wouldn't hate it, because Gunther's one of my top guys at the moment, but just the storyline, especially after what he did to Jimmy, it just makes sense now that Jay gets the upper hand. Be interested to see what they do on this week's Raw coming up, to see how they finish the build. I
wouldn't be surprised if they just did a video package next Raw and didn't do anything else.
I want them to do something, but yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they do. Definitely the whole Jimmy slapping Gunther, the Jimmy getting beaten up and bleeding all over Gunther while Jade was tied up. That was like the highlight of this feud. Jay's promo, I really enjoyed it this week. The only thing I didn't really like was just Gunther's reaction to it. I wanted him to be more, still, I don't believe this guy's still beneath me, and he gets pissed off with what he was saying, but he looked more worried and scared, which I weren't a big fan of. And then I would have, as I said many times, even in my videos on social, I would have ended the segment with Gunther trying to attack Jay, but Jay either blocks or dodges, and then he gets the upper hand on Gunther, just to solidify that he's not scared anymore, and that he gets a chance here to win. But yeah, that's I'm in agreement there. So yeah, I'm going to say Jey Uso. I'm looking forward to the match. Should be a great match, especially a good storytelling match. I'm all for it. Gunther will lose at WrestleMania again.
Oh no! I mean, how did you weren't too much into the build last year for 40 with Sami Zayn, were you? You weren't sure if
Yeah,
he was the one to take the IC belt.
last year I didn't want Gunther to lose. That's all it was last year. I just didn't want him to lose. Keep rolling on with that Intercontinental Championship, but unfortunately, obviously, they did. They
Well,
went that way.
yeah, it resulted in him winning King of the Ring and getting the main belt at least. So there's worse things for sure. I wasn't even sure about Sami Zayn, but that Rocky like build with the Chad Gable training and stuff like that got me. Considering they were in Philadelphia and stuff, it kind of won me over. But yeah, I guess it all paid off in the end. Well, we both wish that the Gunther title reign was better. I mean, they could have done a lot more with it for sure. But hopefully, he'll get the belt again soon enough and can get a bit more out of him as champion.
Yeah, I was going to talk. I was going to say, or I was going to ask you about his title reign. I don't think it's been the worst. It's not been the worst. He's had some good. He's had some good opponents. He's had some good feuds. Him and Damian Priest was pretty good. I enjoyed that sort of stuff. The one thing I really enjoyed, which I've seen a lot of people online don't like, was the whole losing confidence. Gunther, I've really enjoyed that. I thought that added a lot to his character, and it all really started with Sami Zayn when he refused to face Sami Zayn again because he knew he lost to Sami. Sami knows how to beat him; like he doesn't want to give him a chance. But it all started with that, and then obviously he lost to Cody, and that's where it really came down. And then his whole feud with Damian Priest was all about that, and then obviously Gunther beat Priest and Finn in a triple threat, and then he instantly got his confidence back. That's the thing I didn't like about the confidence thing, was I would have made it go even longer and more opponents rather than just a couple. I would have went a bit further. I also would have chucked in when you had Goldberg there. I would have made a Gunther Goldberg feud just to give Gunther a massive sort of like legend win. But I don't think it was the worst. It could have been better. It may not be as good as the Intercontinental Championship run he had, but I don't think it's been the worst. I've seen a lot of people saying it's been terrible, but I don't think it's been terrible. But then if you didn't like the Gunther losing confidence stuff, which a lot of people seem to not like, then yeah, I get why you would say this has been absolutely terrible. But I was a big fan of it while it was happening, so. I think it's been a decent run, but as I said to you before, Scott, he's going to have many world title runs in the future that can be great. So I'm not too worried.
Absolutely, yeah. No, I agree. It hasn't been a terrible run. I mean, what was it he said to Sami Zayn? Like, he had to. Like his dad Gunther's dad said he was ashamed at him for losing to Sami Zayn, and it was just stuff like that. It's like, oh man, it's like no wonder Gunther's scared to face Sami. He's afraid for that.
Yeah.
Shaming his family again. It's like elements like that I thought was really good in it. Probably his best match during his title reign was probably with Randy Orton at Bash in Berlin.
Absolutely agree. I was going to say that. Absolutely agree. That's my kind of match. It was slow, but oh mate, I love it.
Good. He was checking off the check boxes like of his previous wrinkles in his record. Losing to Sami Zayn, had to make up for that. The weird ending with Randy Orton in King of the Ring, had to make up for that. Beat both of those. So those were some wrongs righted. And then, yeah, I did not like Gunther losing to Cody. That whole thing for that... was it that special Saudi belt where you had both the champions facing each other? I thought that was a bad idea.
Yeah, the crown jewel championship.
Yeah, it's going to make one of your champions in both those matches look weaker. But I did like the lack of confidence thing. I think that was a great thing to follow up with. It's just they didn't really go anywhere near as far with that storyline as they could have. He kind of just had that triple threat match, and then the storyline was over, and it could have gone a bit further than that. I don't know if it was because people were complaining about it and they saw that and they just receded it. But I don't know why people would be against character development, changes, going through stuff. That's what this is all about, right? It's storytelling, putting wrestlers through shit, see them change and grow. So I don't know why they just want to keep the same for the entire time. So I don't really understand that. But yeah, I'm right with you there, son. It wasn't a terrible title reign. It's just I feel like we could have definitely gotten a lot more out of it. But until the next time, I suppose, the next championship reign.
Well, I remember saying to you at the time when that triple threat was announced, Damian Priest, Finn Balor, and Gunther, I was saying I would have Gunther lose the belt then. I would have either Damien pin Finn or Finn pin Damien, and you make it even more worse for Gunther. His confidence go even more down. And then you have Goldberg come after him after that kind of thing. That's what I would have done. But obviously, they didn't go that way. But like I said, I enjoyed his little character development stuff that they did for his reign. And yeah, it may not come to an end at Mania. We're all thinking Jay's going to win, but it may not. But it makes sense to me.
Shocker if not.
I'm happy for it, like for Jay to win it. I think the storyline entire it makes sense if he does win it. So luckily this year I don't feel as bad about Gunther losing as I did last year. So that's good.
Yeah, Goldberg says I think Goldberg said he was only going to have one more match. I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's scheduled for this summer. So I guess you could do Gunther and Goldberg still then.
Yeah, I think they're teasing either that or Goldberg and Braun Breaker. I'd be good either way, to be honest. And
the other thing you were saying about ticking off the boxes, obviously you ticked off the box for Randy, ticked the box off for Sami Zayn, and now he needs to tick the box for Cody Rhodes. So I'm sure that's going to come up at some point, and he'll tick that box because Cody's got him in the Royal Rumble and the one-on-one match. So we shall see down the line, Gunther, when he eventually beats Cody, it'll be a good moment.
Oh, that'd be a great moment. Can't wait for that. If they do it. Hopefully they do.
Right, we're going to move on to the next match, chap. The next match is Jade Cargill versus Naomi. Now, I'll go first this time. Naomi, well, first thing I want to say is that promo from a couple of weeks ago, her first heel promo, that backstage one. Oh, mate, that was a thing of beauty. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. The most interested I've ever been in Naomi, and I'm really invested into her character now. I know she done another promo in this SmackDown. I've not seen it yet, but you can let me know, Scott, whether that is another killer promo. But the storyline itself, the Jade Cargill getting taken out, and who was it? And it was Naomi. I think we all predicted it was Naomi. The bit at Elimination Chamber when Jade came out and beat the crap out of Naomi was absolutely marvellous, fantastic. What a way to start this feud. And then Naomi and Bianca's little segment in the ring when Naomi's like, I did this for you, I did this for us, kind of thing. Another real good promo there between the two. And now we've got Naomi as a heel. Fantastic. I like this whole caution thing, proceed with caution. I love this sort of new gimmick that she's got. Very good. Jade, I don't know, they've not done much. I need a Jade Cargill promo where she's doing like a badass backstage promo where they do all the edits and stuff. I need something like that for her, please. Give me something for Jade, because I feel like she's barely done anything. She's returned, attacked Naomi, but not done anything outside of that. Give me something with her. Give me some character development, or even just tell us who basically she is, apart from big muscle lady. But I do think this has been an okay build. You understand both of their motivations. As I said, I've been loving what Naomi done. Hopefully, this promo she did this week is fantastic as well. I'm looking forward to watching it. And I read on social media last night this morning that she done another promo, but I haven't watched it yet. I need to watch it. But yeah, it's been a decent build, I will say. Unfortunately, I think Jade is winning here because I feel like they've got bigger things for Jade. it's a shame that Bianca's stepped away from this storyline. She might come back into it after Mania. I'm not sure, but it seems like obviously Bianca's got her own focus, and we'll talk about that a bit later. But yeah, I'm going to go with Jade here. Definitely, yeah. They got bigger things for her, no doubt. I think eventually she will face Bianca at some point. Naomi, I think, could take a loss here. I know she's got this new heel gimmick, but I don't think it'll damage her too much. And I would, and this is something I'm thinking, by the end of this year, give Naomi that United States Championship. I think she'd be a great mid-card heel title holder. I know it's on Chelsea Green at the moment. We're going to have to get it off of her to give it to Naomi. But yeah, I'm all for that. So my prediction here is Jade Cargill with the win over Naomi. What's your thoughts, chap?
I don't remember seeing any segment with Jade Cargill and Naomi this SmackDown.
I think it was just a backstage thing with Naomi. I could be wrong. I swear I saw it on social media though.
Yeah, might be just a social media thing. I can't recall unless I accidentally skipped it. But I'll have to look back on that. But yeah, this feud. I think there was a lot of indifference or just not caring after a certain point about who ran over Jade Cargill, because I think they stretched it out for so long and didn't even make a good attempt of, making us care about it. It's just like, for the love of God, just reveal who did it. But eventually, Elimination Chamber, they finally brought it, and what a way to start that match. Absolutely fantastic. I agree. That was really hot doing that and watching Bianca fall apart and seeing that happen. Really good. I wouldn't say it was like being patient. I don't think it's one of those cases where it's like, well, you got to sit, hang in there and see what happens and what develops. Nothing was happening with this storyline. Nothing. You just chose to continue it only then and there. So I guess they were just waiting on the chamber, I suppose. I don't know if that was always the plan. I do agree this would have been a lot more interesting if Bianca was still involved. I absolutely love that segment between Bianca and Naomi and finding out that Naomi did it. I thought that was fantastic. In fact, I thought Bianca doing that was probably better than everything she's been doing with Rhea and Io, to be honest, because it's just a lot more investable, a lot more emotion behind it. So it's a damn shame, but hopefully that has some effect on Bianca going forward, but we'll get to that. In terms of these two, I think the Naomi heel turn was brilliant. I'm loving the proceed with caution sort of thing. I think that's really good. Jade Cargill, I feel like she's bloody fallen from grace. Remember when she appeared at the Rumble? Was it the one before last? And everyone's going like, oh my gosh, she's going to be amazing. This new recruit, this new addition to the roster, everyone going nuts. I was just like, all right, hold on. I've seen what she's done in AEW. She was still very green then. She's still very green now. See what they do with her. And they've actually been doing less with her in WWE than she did in AEW, because I think she was TNT champion or TBS champion for the longest on AEW.
Yeah, it's just that they've done nothing. They've barely done. They just had her in a tag team with Bianca for a long, long time, so they've just barely done anything with her.
Yeah, I mean, I like the teaming of the two, sort of, but any women touching those women tag team belts automatically fall off a cliff. It's just like they're tainted, those tag belts. It's like, get them away. And just after a certain point, we were just begging for the two to split, and finally got something out of it. Now they're split, and here we are. The feud has been good. Yeah, enjoyed it. Not absolutely mind-blowing, but stuff like the chamber moment and Naomi turning heel and that, I think, and that Bianca Naomi segment has really helped it stand out. So I think it's just gotten over the hill to being a good Mania match. I'm invested in this. I agree, Jade has a lot of work to do. I think she's been very overhyped. I see the potential, but she's still very green and needs to work on both her promos and her wrestling. I think in her wrestling she does overly pose a lot after each move, and and still like a bit rough around the edges. But hopefully Naomi can bring a great match out of her. But yeah, I think we just need that real strong Jade promo. To be honest, just one good final exchange between the two would really help, and I think Jade needs to work on that. To be honest, so yeah, I think this is a good matchup, and hopefully it'll just help Jade move along. We know Naomi is talented. We know she's been talented for a while. I don't know about her winning the US belt because at the moment they're just not doing anything with the US belt. So I don't know if that's been tainted as well. Like anyone who's touching that, it's just going to be forgotten. I don't think Chelsea. Well, she's not been forgotten, Chelsea, but she hasn't exactly stood out. Has she? She doesn't even have a match at Mania. So that feels like a criminal thing in itself. But if I was going to pick someone, I'd definitely pick Naomi. I think I go like I would say Jade, but I don't think there's enough there with Jade at the moment to give her that type of win. Whereas Naomi, I think this is the best she's looked in a long time. I'd go all the way with it personally. And a crazy stat that what are they saying? This is the first women's match on a Mania that isn't for a belt. Just a one-on-one match that isn't for a belt on Mania. I mean, if that's the case, that is bloody crazy to me. That is just that's not something you'd really think about. You think they would have had a match, multiple matches, single matches, not for belts on there. So that's insane. But yeah, both of them deserve it. I think they've earned this spot, and yeah, should be a good match for sure. And look forward to seeing what they do. So I'm going to go with Naomi on this one.
Nice. I will say, obviously, with the belts, what you said about the belts, any belt could get better. I feel even the tag titles, the women tag titles, they could get better if you just put the correct tag team on it, and obviously actually give them stories and feuds and stuff. So I don't think any one take gets tainted by the belt. It's just how you book the belt is what you have to do, and the champion with the belt. So like, I think if you're pushing Naomi strong, so yeah, it's like Chelsea Green. Really, if you push Chelsea Green strong with stories, it'd make the belt feel good. But obviously, they're just not really doing much with Chelsea at the moment. They've got this thing with Selena, but they're not really doing much more with it. And like, obviously, she's had the belt for quite a while now. Say with Lyra Valkyria with the Intercontinental Championship, like they've not really done much with the two girls, so they just need to do stuff with them. It's kind of like if you think the amount of times we've watched, say, like the Intercontinental Championship, with, especially back in Vince's day, where that just didn't do anything for anyone, and it felt like the belt was useless. You can just with better booking. I feel like you can make these belts feel a lot better and make them feel important again. But unfortunately, it's just once, especially with the women tag belts, it just seems like you give them the belt and you kind of forget about them until you're ready for them to swap it to somebody else. They don't seem to actually book the women's tag division. Apart from Liv and Raquel, they've been regular, but they've not really been out there defending the belts. They've been more doing the Judgment Day stuff. So I don't know. They just need to. They need to like look at these and go, okay, right, we've got Liv and Raquel as champions. Let's give them a feud. Like, what other tag team have we got? Okay, there we go. We've got these two. Let's put them in we want them to have a match at the next pay-per-view. Let's give them a story. It's not that hard, people. It's not that hard.
Oh, it's funny you say that. Like on SmackDown, just had this women's gauntlet match. I think that really shows how weak the women tag division is. I think half of the teams on there are just women that just been put together on the spot for the sake of it. I think that is the whole women tag team division that's on there, which doesn't look good.
I enjoyed that match because I've seen the gauntlet match. I enjoyed that match, but yeah, it goes to show there was it was a 6-person, and then Bailey and Lyra, who's just been put together, beat the entire division. Doesn't make the division look good at all, does it? So
Maxine Dupree and Natalia, B-Fab and what's the name? It's just all these Michin, these random tag teams out of nowhere. It's like, oh, they're teams now. Okay,
At
if we
least
go with that one,
B-Fab and Meech have been together for a while. Like they were a tag team when I went to that house
they
show.
hang out.
So
Yeah.
they're a tag team, I would say. Same with the two party girls. I forgot their name. Kate and Chance and the other girl. But yeah,
Yeah.
obviously her service, they're brand new. But you kind of understand why they're a tag team. But yeah, Maxine Dupree and Natalia. But then they do seem to be doing a story there. Natalia on Monday was like, oh, why am I joining her as a tag team? And then Maxine was trying to do this sharpshooter while looking at Natalia like, oh, look what I'm doing. But then that caused them to lose, and then Natalia looked annoyed at her. So it seems like they are actually trying to give them a little bit of a story as well. But yeah, it doesn't look
Oh,
great when you have Bailey and Lyra come into the match as number one and just go through all the entire division. But then again,
yeah,
watching that, you kind of just knew they were the only ones that's going to win it. I couldn't see anyone else winning it. So,
yeah,
but well, I'm
yeah.
sure
They
we'll get to
basically just
that.
ran through everyone.
We'll get to that later. Yes. But yeah,
That's for
so you've done that prediction. You're saying Naomi. I'm saying Jade.
Yeah, I think we're going with that. Yeah,
There you
and
go. So
yeah, I just hope you're right with the belts. It's all about the booking. It's all about the booking, and hopefully they can just shake it up. It just feels weird that anyone that touches around those belts, it just seems to happen. The booking goes weird,
yeah,
but it could turn at a dime. And with Chelsea especially, it's like, God, what a waste. I mean, at least with Valkyria, you could like push her up. Like she has work to do, but with Chelsea, she has everything there. She has like everything you need to
yeah.
be a real one of the biggest players in that division. But I guess that's another discussion for another day, I suppose.
So Tiff. Well, I thought this was the only one we were different on, but no, you picked Tiffany, didn't you? And I picked Charlotte. So okay, we've
Yeah.
got two of them that we differ on, and one that we're the same on. Now the next
Mm.
one, which you get to talk about first, chap, is a match I know you can't wait to see: the War Raiders versus the New Day. Tell us your thoughts, son.
Oh, best feud of the whole build. Naturally, I mean, Cena and Cody couldn't top this. This is easily momentous. I mean, bigger than Mania 40 main event, bigger than any main event. Jesus Christ. But seriously, it's just non-existent. What really teased me off more than anything is just SmackDown tag division. You actually have been building story up over the last few months and having like this mix up between like I think about 5 tag teams. You even had a segment with Nick Aldis explaining everything on a whiteboard what was going on. Like there was something there. So naturally thought there was going to be some sort of match on there. I mean, me and Dan were saying there'd probably be some sort of like 5-way tag match. I still remember at Mania 39, I think there was like four-way tag match from the men and the women in that Mania. So we expected something similar here. But not only are the SmackDown tag titles not being defended on Mania, and Raw is, but also it's by a completely non-existent story. It's just completely out of nowhere. No build at all. Just a match for the sake of it. A match just for the sake, probably just because New Day are in it, probably. And boy, have New Day fallen far from grace from that amazing segment from when they split with Big E. They just fell off a cliff week by week. And this could have actually been a great thing if they built them well. I mean, I was initially saying it could have been a triple threat match from all New Day members to be on Mania. Instead, we get this. Since this, like, they haven't even had a proper promo exchange or anything like that. It's just New Day saying, "We want a title shot." Okay. Nefarious means during the match. Okay, you're on Mania. Whereas everyone else on SmackDown is sitting on the bench. Holy crap! This was terrible booking, terrible decision, terrible placement for Mania. Definitely not worthy. Not worth its weight in salt at all. So I disagree with this match being on here, especially with how the New Day's been treated. If I had to pick, I guess I don't know. It doesn't feel like War Raiders have been really given a chance, has it? But do they have room to go further, or should we just go with New Day because they got mega heat? Or well, it did feel like mega heat. It's died down a lot over recent months. I'll probably have to go with New Day because there's just more oomph. There's more to chew with those two rather than the War Raiders. Unfortunately, I feel sorry for the War Raiders. They've just given nothing for them to work with. It's terrible. The Raw tag division, absolutely terrible. I mean, they're both bad, really, but SmackDown has at least improved a bit within recent months. Raw has just been awful, just awful. So yeah, I'm not even excited for the match, to be honest. I just really don't care. But I'll probably give New Day the win on this one. What do you say, chat?
Yeah, I'm basically on the same page as you. I think it will be a great match because they're all good in ring people. I think it'll be a great match, but I don't care.
It will be.
I don't care.
It's just level, yeah.
I'm honestly gutted that we're not getting this 5-way tag match. I would have made it a ladder match as well, give you something different, but unfortunately, rather than the SmackDown lot where a few weeks ago you had Nick going, oh, this is what's going on here, I know it's a bit confusing, rather than having that payoff at Mania, instead you do this build for a couple of weeks with the Raw Raiders and the New Day, if you can call it a build. And this is what goes on Mania rather than this 5-way match. I don't quite understand their thinking here, why this is more important than what you were doing on SmackDown. New Day. Oh, mate. Again, it's one of those things where you turn them heel. Like even before that, we were loving what they were doing, especially because it looked like Xavier was going to turn heel on his own, and then he had that segment the week before where Xavier and Kofi were backstage and they were like giving each other hard truths. It was so good. It was so good. And then no one, like, I didn't expect it. I know you didn't expect it, Scott, when they went out with Big E and they had this reunion. We didn't expect them both to turn heel. We thought it would just be Xavier. But they both turned on Big E, and it was amazing. And then the week after, you had everyone going, oh, I can't believe you did that kind of thing. You did that the week after. Okay. And then you did it the week after. Okay. Can we move on with the story now? Then you did it again the week after. And I was like, God's sake. And then they virtually did nothing with him for the longest time until about 2 weeks ago when suddenly he just wanted a title shot. So it's one of those ones where they just don't do anything. I don't understand it. I don't understand how you get something so hot like the New Day turning heel and you do that big segment, but you just have nothing planned for after it. I don't understand. They've done this a few times with people and it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So yeah, this feud, this is probably the match I least care about all the matches on the card. I think so. Yeah, looking at the card up and down, this is the match I least care about. So I'm gonna say the New Day as well, just because they're new heel turns. The Raw Raiders, they've done nothing since they've returned. They got their old gimmick back, but they've done absolutely nothing with them. Yeah, it sucks. Really suck. They really need to do stuff with them. You're on Netflix. You got as much time as you want. Actually, focus on your tag division. Like both tag divisions ain't amazing. The SmackDown one's better, but like actually focus on them. And then we obviously got the same complaints about the women tag titles. They do nothing with them. Like, actually, give us some feuds.
There's only one tag titles as well. There isn't two of them.
What a fall from grace as well. Like 2 years ago, it main evented WrestleMania 39 night one. It main evented that show. And the motion and the hype and that's one of the best matches, one of the best tag matches I've seen as well. But, mate.
2 years later, we got War Raiders New Day. Like, they split the belts. Like, the Usos unified them. 2 years later, they split them. One isn't on the show, and the other, we got this.
Yeah, should have kept them. Should have kept them unified. and then you got all these different tag teams. It's a shame. It's a shame. But yeah, I'm going to go with the New Day. So we're same on that too.
Didn't they say they were going to do, like, wasn't it early days? It was potentially for this match, it's going to be New Day and Chad Gable versus Penta, Ray Phoenix, and Rey Mysterio.
Oh yeah, that was a theory. That was a theory. What people were saying, yeah, because they were sort of building the New Day. Because I think the New Day were facing LWO for a little bit, so people were like, "Oh yeah, well we'll get Chad," and because Chad was doing that finding how to beat luchadors story at the same time. So yeah, but unfortunately, they sort of split them. They split them away from that story, and yeah, it's weird. I don't understand it. I don't understand it.
I don't know what happened to it all. I think that match would probably have been a better result than what we got. I mean, we got Rey Mysterio and El Grande, but probably putting all the guys together in a 6-man match probably would have been a lot more exciting and natural to do. Unfortunately, it's just sucks how far the New Day have fallen from grace. It's nice to see Kofi Kingston be in a heel role because I've never seen him in a heel role, and like you said, the whole build up, and yet Karrion Kross whispering in Xavier's ears. And I love Karrion Kross, by the way. I think massively underused. But it's just those 2 segments before the turning heel and then turning heel, terrific, and went nowhere with it. And I said at the time, chat, like I was worried that Kofi turned heel as well as Xavier, because I was like, oh, does this mean they're gonna stay in the tag division? And I was like, that's worrying to me because their tag divisions are terrible. As opposed to if it was just Xavier turned heel, it might have been a better payoff with him just having a singles run and done quite a bit more with him. And I don't know if that is it, but it just kind of affirms to me that it could be that because they kept him as a tag team and they don't give a crap about their tag team division, it's helped them sink like a stone. So I don't know. It could be a number of reasons. It could be one of them.
But yeah, I definitely feel like you were justified there to be worried, Chuck. They still could have given Xavier the heel run and just had Kofi as his sort of manager. But
yeah, it could have really. Yeah, and clearly they had no inkling, like no plans to have Big E appearing, or in any kind of role, not even in a manager sort of role. So that's a shame.
Yeah, I think we were all hoping Big E was secretly cleared, but I guess he's still not cleared. Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame.
Or Big E. And we said even a great gimmick for the New Day would have been they would target people's necks, like injure them with like chairs and that in spite of Big. That would have been good.
Well, that is what they did on Raw. They were targeting the War Raiders' necks because the Raw Raiders were out with neck injuries, and then I'm like, if they do connect it with Big E having a neck injury, then that will make this angle more interesting. Whether they do or not, we'll see next week on Raw. But that's what you should do. If they win the titles, that's what you should do. They like have a wrestling match, and at the end of it, after they win, they go and try and break their necks because of Big E.
Yeah,
like do something with these people. That's what I want. Just do something with them.
Do you think Big E's going to appear at Mania?
If he does, then I think the Raw Raiders will win. But no, I don't.
They could do, like you said, they target the necks, and then when they're about to smash the necks in, Big E comes out for the save or something like that, maybe.
But that's if Big E can wrestle. I don't know if he can even lift a. I don't know if he could take a bump.
I don't know.
And
just distract or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, let's move on from that fantastic feud. So next up,
favorite for sure.
Next up is LA Knight versus Jacob for 2. I'll take this one. It's been a sort of a rushed feud, I feel. LA Knight has been involved with Blood, or they're not even called New Bloodline now. Whatever this team's called, Solo, Jacob, and Tama. They've been. LA Knight's been involved with them for a while now. obviously had Jacob and Braun Strowman having their little bit of feud, and then it all ended up being, you sort of integrated it all together. We ended up with the last man standing match, which was a great match, and Jacob won, and now he's going to be facing LA Knight at Mania. As I said to you, Scott, before, and I also did a video on this, on what I would do in this match. Obviously, we've had this Solo Jacob tease that they're going to end up falling out with each other. I would do this at Mania. I would have this angle play out at Mania, where obviously it's LA Knight versus Jacob for 2, and during the match or towards the end of the match, either on purpose or accidentally, you would have Solo Sikoa causing Jacob to lose the match, and loses his chance to win the United States Championship. Because then you can go forward with this feud with Solo Sikoa and Jacob 2. You can finally begin that feud, which is something we've all been waiting for ages. You can finally we can finally actually start that feud. It'll be a big moment in the match where we're all like, oh crap, they're finally doing it. As soon as Jacob puts his hand on Solo, we'll all be like, oh my God, we'll be losing our minds. And then LA Knight could get interfered, do his finisher. I can't remember what it's called, brute force something, isn't it? Brute force drama, so BTF, whatever they call it. He does that. He picks up the win because of Solo. And this also gives LA Knight a massive win for his United States Championship reign. And it gives LA Knight the first Solo win as well against Jacob. I feel like it would do wonders for LA Knight's title reign, and also it protects Jacob for 2, because Solo's the one that caused him to lose the match. And then you also do the big moment that we've all been wanting to see, with Jacob for 2 finally turning on Solo Sikoa, and then you start building that feud up for Backlash. So that's my prediction. My prediction is LA Knight will retain the United States Championship. What about you, Chuck?
Yeah, it's very interesting. It has been messy getting to this point for sure. I mean, we were thinking it's going to be another multi-man match. As we haven't got enough multi-person matches on Mania. Thinking it was going to be LA Knight, Jacob, Braun Strowman, and Solo. You just weren't quite sure, because Braun Strowman has been kind of in the thick of this for the longest. So it has been messy getting here to this point for sure. Good match. Would it be the match I would have booked personally? Probably not. If you're looking at the rest of this card, the Mania, I mean, probably it could have done with a Solo Jacob match in there, just to boost the card up a bit, and then have Jacob have a great win there. And then who would face LA Knight? I probably would have booked Carmelo Hayes to face LA Knight, to be honest. I think he's, like I said, he's been so underused at the moment, just down to the bottom of the barrel with Miz. Like, Jesus Christ, he should definitely be on this Mania.
Well, you're telling me you don't like Mellow Don't Miz?
Oh, it was funny the first couple of weeks, but Jesus Christ, now they're just hanging around, having conversations with folk, trying to sell the Miz on everyone. It's like, oh gosh, what is going on? I mean, I'm a fan of LA Knight. I like LA Knight. I watched him a bit during TNA with the whole button going, dummy, yeah, which was hilarious. So it's very cool to see him get as far as he's gotten. So naturally, he should deserve a place at Mania. He should never have lost the belt from his first run to Shinsuke, because that was just a nothing reign from Shinsuke. Again, I don't know where they were going with that, what the point of that was. Complete waste of time. I mean, LA Knight's initial run could have looked a lot stronger at this point if he still had the belt, and not lost it to Shinsuke, which is a shame, but we are where we are. I agree, it would be great to have LA Knight have a feud at Mania and just push him further as champion, and have a really good reign, because he did have a bit of a decent reign in his first run. He was like asking for challenges every week. the one that sticks out in my head the most, I think it was before Bash of Berlin, where he faced Ludwig, like just did an open challenge and Ludwig came out. That was cool. This is a good matchup. It would be nice to see a promo exchange in the final SmackDown between the two, because the two have lightly been touching each other, but not in a proper feud kind of way. So a promo segment would be great just to get it over the line. Should be a hell of a match. I mean, Jacob's an absolute beast with that backflip and everything. And, you know, there's going to be moments where he's just no selling shit. It's just really go for it. I agree. I think it's going to be LA Knight and Solo's going to cause an interference. I don't think it's going to be by accident. I think Solo's just going to outright turn on Jacob. I think they're just going to get into this feud now following Mania. They better. I mean, if it was by accident, then it's still kind of just dragging it out a bit before they really get properly feuding. And usually it's the heel that turns on the face. So I could see Solo really just going for it and attacking Jacob. Again, is this the match I would have went for a Mania match? No, I would have had Solo and Jacob as a match. But this should be a good match. I'm looking forward to this. And I think, yeah, I kind of agree, really. I think LA Knight's going to get the win, and Solo is going to... I think he's going to cause Jacob the loss. And then, yeah, LA Knight looks good. Jacob's got something to look forward to after. And, yeah, should make everyone look good, really.
So you would turn Jacob face?
Oh, yeah. Jacob's, like, over right now. I'd go with... like, everyone's loving what he's doing. Solo, he's just, like... booed out of every building he goes to. I feel like Solo. I do feel sorry for him a bit because 1 minute he's like looking completely dominant, and then leader of this new bloodline and all that. Even before that, when he had a clean win over Cena, it looked like they were going to take him places. But now it feels like he's not even got a place in the card. Feels a bit after 4-ish. So, but he's still got the heel heat. Jacob's looking great. I'd say Solo's going to turn on Jacob for sure. Hopefully at Mania. But yeah, that's what I'm predicting is going to happen. Yeah.
Nice. Makes sense to turn him face while he's so over, because Jacob is one of the most over people on the roster. Every time he does his attack on someone, even if it is on the face, they're like, one more time. So,
yeah. Well, to say that,
sense.
I mean, we're both fans of Bronson Reed, and in the middle of last year, they started doing that one more time with the tsunamis, and we hope, like, it's a shame he got injured, but we hope he comes back soon. Jacob's kind of filling that spot of like this monster. It's just going for it. Even though Bronson was still a heel, Jacob is definitely filling in that spot. And you can imagine a Bronson Reed Jacob Fatu match. That'll be so good. So good. But yeah, we're just loving what Jacob's doing at the moment and can't wait to see where he goes.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Absolutely. So we're going to move on to the next match. Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano. What do you think about this one? What do you think about this one, lad?
The greatest luchador in all the land. What was the promo, bloody? Heard of Blue Demon. Heard of the Guerrero family. But none of them is as great as El Grande Americano. But one day, he disappeared. And now he has returned. Then Rey Mysterio is like, what the hell is that? What the hell is that? Oh, gosh. I've said many times to Dan that it's pretty sad that this is one of the biggest highlights of this Mania build. This should be like a cherry on the top sort of thing, like a nice side thing, but it's actually one of the leading fun parts of this build. So that says a lot in itself. It's also bizarre to think about that, where we've come with Chad Gable, with the stuff with Sami Zayn, helping him win at 40, and then turning heel, and all the stuff with the Wyatts, and leaving Alpha Academy and forming American Made, all that stuff. And it's led to this a year later, El Grande Americano. I don't know how we got to this point exactly, but it's certainly interesting. And I love that video package segment where he was looking through the streets, looking for this old man to give him the wisdom of how to learn the ways of the lucha. It felt very actually lucha underground-ish, that kind of segment. I would love to see more of that in WWE. I think that'd be very cool. Would love to see more stuff outside the arena in general, actually. That would be so good. Still don't know who that old man is, by the way. Just, you know. And this story, it is a bizarre story because I don't know what exactly Chad is doing here. He's kind of doing like a superhero gimmick sort of thing. I don't know, that he wants to keep under the skies. I don't know exactly what he's trying to do, but it is hilarious. It is so good, and I love that the crowd is chanting, "That's Chad Gable." No, it's not. It's just so good, so good. It's the kind of goofy stuff from WWE I miss. They used to do like plenty of like funny, you know, off the bar kind of crazy stuff. You know, it's more serious now, which I definitely appreciate. But it's nice to have some silly things like this. I think the last silly thing before this has just been all the R-Truth stuff with Judgment Day. You know, they did a package with like R-Truth and edited him in with all the highlights of the Judgment Day. That was hilarious. But yeah, this is definitely gotten over, and it's really good. I'm a big fan of it, and you know, we all know it has a short shelf life, and we expect probably it's going to end at Mania. We're just waiting for it to become a mask versus mask match, really. And the only reason why I think they're not doing that is that El Grande might win, and then that's got me thinking, how much further can this go? So I don't know. Maybe they shouldn't keep it. Maybe they shouldn't add mask versus mask, because then it makes it a bit more obvious, or very obvious, who's going to win. Because there's no way Ray's losing his mask. But yeah, nice little story here. And Ray's just totally insulted by this. It's like, this is an insult to lucha everywhere, and I want a match. And just everything with Chad pretending, you know, he's sick and all that, and the fact that Adam Pearce would just, you know, lean into it and just like give him what he wants. He's like, "Oh well, you can't wrestle, I'm afraid, but it's my hometown." "Yeah, but you're ill, you know. You give me the doctor's note." It's like that adds an extra element that I really appreciate. The fact that El Grande's in the roster at all is just hilarious. That he's been taken seriously. So really good stuff. With the mask versus mask, I would expect Ray to win, but without mask versus mask, probably Ray will still win. I just expect at Mania probably El Grande will be unmasked. And if he does get unmasked, I want commentary to sell that like big time. I want Pat McAfee to go, "Oh my God, it's Chad Gable. I can't believe it." And Michael Cole's like, "What are you talking about? I've been telling you that for weeks. What are you doing?" So I really want big time of that. And maybe the crowd will sell it as well. Like, "Oh my gosh," they go, "Holy shit." That would be so good. But yeah, hopefully, we'll get a great match out of it. Chad and Ray is just gonna absolutely kill it, and then we'll see. Yeah, I feel like they are going to end it and unmask Chad. I wouldn't mind if it lasted a bit longer. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. I can go either way about the unmasking, but I feel like now's probably a sweet time to do it, to be honest. So yeah, I'm going with Ray here, but go El Grande. Go El Grande. What do you think, Sam?
I can't believe you, chap. I just can't believe you're thinking Chad and El Grande Americano are the same person. Why don't you just believe what Chad's saying? Chad has told us that he's not El Grande Americano. We've seen them both in the same shot. So clearly it's not. And poor Chad was ill. He was ill. And El Grande stepped up for him. I can't believe you. I can't believe it. And El Grande stepped up for him on his hometown visit. Like, I just can't believe what you're saying to me, mate.
No, insulting the legacy of El Grande and everything he's done throughout his career, thinking he's Chad. You're right. They did have that segment where he was backstage being pulled by security. So you're right. It
that
can't be
weren't
Chad.
that weren't just somebody Chad paid off.
No. Probably one of the creeds.
Now, being serious, this is probably top 3 best story going on at the moment. I think this is fantastic, especially the stuff with Chad. The match with Ray is a bit like only been set up in the last couple of weeks. Even though yes, they've been feuding with LWO for a while, but specifically Ray, it's just really been just sort of the last couple of weeks. But
yeah, the actual build has been like just non-existent, but it's just
but the story
around El Grande.
Exactly. The story with Chad and El Grande, it's been one of my favourite things. I agree. I love what they did with that video package of Chad wandering around Mexico looking for this old man, and this old man appeared. And he's like, "Yes, give me what you need is in the box." And then the funny bit with the money where he wanted more money after Chad gave him a bunch. And then obviously, we're all assuming it was the mask that was in the box.
I assume so.
But yeah, ever since then, it's just been amazing. And yeah, the crowd is so into it. Bloody El Grande Americano is getting cheered every time as he comes out. I love his theme songs being like these very generic sort of Mexican theme. It's so funny. Nothing to it either. Just one instrument playing his theme. I can't wait to see his Mania entrance. That's the thing I can't wait for. What is it going to be? They're either going to go just plain and simple, or I could see him go well over the top with it. It's going to be one or the other. Like, I can picture like fireworks and Mexico, like everything.
Getting legions of Mexicans. You got a Mexican band playing and everything. And people worshipping at his face. Oh, grande. Probably won't do that, but
they're either going to go very simple with it, or they're going to go over the top of it. I can't wait to see what the entrance is. But I'm in agreement with you that this could have been a mask versus mask, and if it was mask versus mask, Ray was winning. But I will say the fact that it's not mask versus mask definitely gives the possibility of El Grande Americano winning. And I am going to go opposite you here. I'm going to say El Grande Americano wins here at Mania. I do think that the story will end very soon. If it was down to me, I'd do it on the Raw after Mania. Because how many times I said to you, Scott, that we need to make the Raw after Mania a big deal again. We need some big reveals, big moments on that show. And I think the unmasking of El Grande Americano could be one of those big things. So maybe you just do a Ray versus El Grande Americano rematch, but this time it's a mask versus mask match on that Raw, and then that's how you kind of end that storyline. But the fact that it's not mask versus mask has definitely got me thinking the reason they've not done that is because El Grande Americano is winning. Probably by cheap means. I don't think he's going to win like clean, but I think he's going to win somehow cheating, and then that's why Ray gets his rematch on Raw, and it said that he was to raise the stakes, so it's mask versus mask. It makes sense in my head that that's where they're going to go. So I'm going to go with the greatest luchador of all time, El Grande Americano, for the win here. And I will say it is such a shame. Again, Chad Gable has to miss Mania again. It's such a shame.
No, it is a shame. How disappointing. Hopefully he'll feel better and shake off that cold. And yeah, you brought up a good point with the Raw after Mania. So much of none of us are really thinking about the Raw after Mania. Really, it's all been about Mania, and even under Triple H, like last year, the Raw after Mania was underwhelming. So it would be good to have some follow-up stuff, and this is probably one of those things you could follow up with that could make it interesting. Hopefully, it'll be a big one. Hopefully.
There's another match later that I think something will happen on Raw after Mania as well. That's how I would book it, but we'll get to that later. But yeah, you're right as well about this is a very silly sort of storyline, but this proves there's places for this kind of storyline in wrestling. I'm all for it. I remember a couple of years ago when you had Elias and his brother. Elias, well, I can't remember what his brother's name was, but he had like them two. Then Kevin Owens trying to prove that they were the same person. Elias and Elia. I can't remember what it was. Elias. I can't remember what it was. But anyway, yeah, that he had that story. That was silly, and that got over. So yeah, I'm all for silly storylines for sure. But yeah, moving on. Are you ready to move on?
Yeah, ready to move on. Let's do it.
And here we go. The main event of WrestleMania Saturday is Roman Reigns versus CM Punk.
Quote unquote main event.
I believe it's the main event. Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Paul Heyman, and Seth Rollins in a triple threat match. Now, well, what do I feel?
The big one.
I feel it's been a good story. It's been a good story for sure. Obviously, these, especially Punk, Rollins, Romans, they've all had this connection between each other. Roman and Punk's had this whole favour thing ever since War Games. So it makes sense why all three of them are together. I think they've had some good promos together. The favour reveal was really good. I enjoyed that. We all knew what the favour was going to be. It wasn't like it was an unpredictable favour, but Paul Heyman is going to be in the corner of CM Punk instead of Roman Reigns. Yeah, it's been good. It's been good. We've not had that promo though. The promo I was hoping for, we've not had. Maybe we'll get this week or next week. It's that promo where it's the CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre promo. We've not had that yet. Maybe we'll get it, but we haven't had it.
You mean like an exchange between the three, sort of deal, just like bouncing off of each other?
Yeah, but like it really actually they go to town on each other. That's what I want. We've not had that yet. I did enjoy the one thing I did enjoy, which I know a lot of people didn't like that first sort of week that they were all together. I did enjoy the brawling, and then each one of them were like Mania, us three, and then the next one Mania, us three, and then all three of them. I enjoyed that. I thought that was quite a clever sort of way to get in that match across. But yeah, then you had the Seth Rollins moment on Raw, which to me, I liked it, but it just dragged. Seth Rollins is all going through the backstory about Paul Heyman and why he can't trust him and why he thinks they never cared for Paul Heyman. I thought it dragged. It dragged for me for some reason. But I did enjoy the final parts where he was like, how much is it going to cost Paul? And he kept hitting him, saying that it will take him out of the match. And then right at the end, about to curb stomp Paul Heyman, but stopped and then said, now you owe me a favour. Is this something that's going to play into the match? I'm pretty sure it will be. The Paul Heyman element is the thing that I think really makes this an interesting match. The fact that obviously he's not just going to ignore Roman Reigns, he's still going to care for him and that. Paul Heyman said that. Like, he's not betrayed Roman, he's still there for him. He's the same as CM Punk. He ain't really got an attachment to Seth Rollins, but now that Rollins has got a favour, it adds that element to it. Now Paul's got an element with Seth. It has made things very, very interesting. Now, I think it's very unpredictable, this match. I don't know how it's going to go. The person I think is least likely to win is Roman Reigns. I don't see him leaving. I could see Punk winning. And I could see Seth. Seth is definitely sort of raised up there, with, especially after this last week, of being the favourite to win this match. Yeah, I don't know actually who to pick. Even thinking about it, I still don't know. I could see it going either way between all three men. I don't know. I'm trying to think. I'm still trying to decide right now. I should really came into this podcast knowing who I was going to pick, but I can't think.
Probably one of the most unpredictable ones, isn't it? Because it could go with any of them. Yeah,
I'm gonna go with Seth Rollins. I think this segment that they just played out is gonna be the deciding factor of how Seth Rollins wins. I think Punk and Roman are gonna cancel each other out. for Seth to win. I've seen people theorising that Paul Heyman might end up with Seth at the end of the match, and they both turn heel and then just leave Punk and Reigns, leave them on their own going forward. I'm not sure whether I see that, but then what else could Seth Rollins' favour be? Like, I have no idea. It's so unpredictable, but yeah, I think I'm going to go with Seth. I think that's going to be my pick. Seth Rollins, this last Raw promo has determined, in my head, that that's who is going to win this match, and Punk and Roman will cancel that. And also, I will say, and I know you disagree with me here, Scott, but I'm so glad Punk is finally getting his main event. He deserved it ever since he was originally in in WWE 10 years ago. He deserved to be properly in that match with Cena and Rock, the second match that they had. So he should have main evented it right back then. He was so hot. Even him versus Taker could have main evented. That was such a good match. Obviously, he weren't at 30, was he? I don't think Punk was at 30 by that point. I think the match with Taker was his last Mania match. So, yeah, it's going to be the first time he's had a match in, 12 years? Can't wait to see it.
Wow, that's crazy. That's his last Mania match with Taker.
Yeah, because he didn't wrestle last year because he was injured. So, I'm going to go with Seth. And, yeah, I'm so happy that Punk finally gets the main event. Wrestlemania. So, yeah, that's my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts, Scott.
Gosh, the Taker streak was still alive last time Punk was in a Mania. Jesus Christ. You remember that feud when he poured the ashes all over him? Was it the pallbearer ashes in the build to that match?
Yeah.
That was... Gosh, things were quite a bit more gritty back then. Like, I don't imagine them doing something like that nowadays. And don't give me reminders of that whole, Punk losing the belt to Rock. Just to have Rock and Cena main event 29. Like, fuck. I wonder Punk left the first time. Yes, this feud. Me and Dan disagree on the whole main event sort of thing. I don't treat the night one final match as a main event. I feel it like just a pre-break match, a pre-half-time sort of match. Just because WWE's gotten greedy and they thought we'll have enough matches and span it onto 2 nights, and you have to have a break in the middle of it because everyone was dying when it was like 6-7 hours, that whatever the last match is in the break is being treated as a main event. I mean, not to say that we haven't had good final matches on night one. Stone Cold and Kevin Owens, Kevin and Sammy versus the Usos, obviously the Rock tag match. But I think naturally you just feel like that's just a middle of the card match. You just think of the main event as the main event. And you do that in any other sense if you didn't have like a whole day in between it. But I know a lot of people disagree with that and they see that as the main event. And I am happy that Punk feels that way.
Here's a question. Here's a question, Scott, before you move on. Do you class NXT Stand and Deliver, whatever match main events that, will you class that as a main event or not?
I class it as the main event. Whether it's worthy of it or not is another question. I mean, there's so many pay-per-views where they said it's a double main event, or very rarely it's a triple main event. It kind of feels like that sort of deal. This kind of screams double main events, and it's like, cases, it's been...
Why is the main event a Stand and Deliver a main event, but not WrestleMania Saturday's main event, not a main event?
Stand and Deliver isn't 2 shows, is it? It's just got one.
But it's part of the Mania. Event. It's part of the Mania season weekend thing. Do you class NXT as a different thing altogether?
Brand, it's its own thing. Yeah, it's completely.
So if that was called WrestleMania as well, like WrestleMania Stand and Deliver, would you then not class that main event as a main event?
So if it was classed as part of the main. The actual Mania card.
Say if it was called WrestleMania Stand and Deliver, would you still class that as a main event? Is it just because the two Mania nights have the same name?
No, it's not because they got the same name. It's the fact that it's all part of this, like they're all one card, and the card has to have a final match, a big final match for a belt, usually for a belt at the end. That's the main event, and we all know it's the main event. I kind of just think it's cheap reasons to say, oh, this match just happens to be at the end of the halfway point. That's treated as a main event. It just feels like it's just a middle of the card sort of thing. We just need a breather because the show's too damn long. It feels kind of like a consolation prize kind of deal. It's like you just got the silver medal, as it was, just to make you feel like you got the main event. But we all know what the final main event is going to be. It's on all the posters, on the cover of the DVD or whatever. It's always going to be known as that. God, can you imagine if they had to stand and deliver? So it was like extra long, the Mania. Like if you included stand and deliver, like they merged the two, it'd be like a 3-part of Mania, and then you have 3 main events. Jesus Christ!
But yeah, it really depends whether you class them as 2 different shows. I do because they sell it as 2 different shows, so I class it as Mania Saturday and Mania Sunday. I class them both as 2 different shows, but that's why I would class the Punk one as a WrestleMania main event, because I look at them both as 2 different shows. They're not like, it's not like you have to buy both nights. You know what I mean? Most people nowadays, especially probably this year, have only gone to one because of how expensive the fucking prices are.
And I could definitely see that as from a business perspective. I could definitely see like that point of view. Heck, I could even be a hypocrite if we say that we bought night 1 and we could only afford night 1 and we watched to the end. Then I'd be seeing that as my main event for the show that we've been. So I could see that. But really, generally, it just feels to me that, from a booking and story and card perspective, and less of a business perspective, it just feels like we're just taking a breather here.
Sorry about that, everyone, but for some reason, the recording stopped. We spoke about quite a few things, but unfortunately, the recording stopped, so we had to start again from here. So, so Scott, could you tell us what you think about Seth Rollins versus CM Punk versus Roman Reigns in a match that you class as not the main event of WrestleMania?
Yes, indeed. This match, like a lot of matches, hasn't been built very well for the majority of the Mania build. I mean, it's better than most of them, with the Seth Punk cage match and Reigns coming out. But it felt like there was a bit of like lost direction there, especially with that one promo where they practically said nothing and was just pointing at the sign. Even though I like the pointing at the sign, I thought that was a good moment. But I think it really picked up once they started bringing in the favor into it. And I thought it was a good idea to bring in the favor when they did. Otherwise, I think it would have been a bigger letdown. A lot of people feel like this favor was a letdown, but I thought this was great. I thought this really added to the theme of the match, which is family, loyalty. That's what this is all about. I think this fits into it perfectly. I don't think Punk would have had a chance to go into the main event of night 2. I just didn't think that made sense. Paul doesn't have that power, and I don't know why Rock would do it anyway. So I think it'd be very tough to sell that. But yeah, once they brought in the favor stuff, I thought it was really good. It's that reaction from Reigns and Heyman. That's what really sold the favor. That's what makes it good. The reaction. If they didn't react to it that well, then it would have like sucked and feel like, okay, Paul's in Punk's corner. Doesn't really mean much. But that Reigns and Heyman sold that, and Reigns was just like, let him down gently, just tell him just no. And Paul was like, I cannot do that, my tribal chief. And that's like in tears and everything. Golden, absolutely golden, terrific stuff. And then I thought the Seth and Heyman segment was really good, and it really added another layer to it. Was it a bit long? Yeah, but if it means Paul's going to turn and help Seth, then I think it was perfect in everything they were doing, with Rollins trying to sell Heyman. Like, Reigns treats you like shit. Punk just wants you for the favor. So, like, you're in a tough bind here. Like, neither of them are loyal to you. I thought it was all great, Seth trying to sell that, and I think it was necessary if that's the direction they were going. So, terrific stuff. I love that segment. And this past SmackDown with the package of Punk and Heyman really being close friends, really feels like they're building towards some sort of betrayal, showing that sort of history. So, great elements here. And they've exchanged one favour for another. We've seen the Punk favour. Now, what's the Rollins favour? What's that going to be? Probably revealed at Mania. So there's a lot of moving cogs here, and it's definitely been the best story out of all the matches on the card. Reigns is definitely the least likely to win this. I just don't see what it does for Reigns. So it's either Punk pinning Rollins or Rollins pinning Punk. And on that basis, probably who wins that is who Paul is backing. So it's either Punk or Rollins. So Reigns is going to feel a bit of a sting of betrayal there he is. So I'm going to go with Rollins as well. I feel like they're just setting it up that way. I didn't think they were going to a couple of weeks ago, but after that last segment on Raw with Heyman, it's definitely a good chance. So I'm going to go with Rollins on this one, and Paul favours Rollins. Should be a hell of a match. I think it's going to be at least half an hour. But yeah, I'm very much invested in this one. Very good.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be one hell of a match, but I am disappointed. You're not saying that El Grande Americano is the best storyline going into this Mania. How very dare you?
Oh, yeah, by far, yeah. I mean, Cody and Cena need to clean their mess up. I mean, like, they're getting left behind in the dust by El Grande. My goodness.
I will say they're lucky that El Grande Americano isn't in that match as a triple threat, because just imagine the fanfare. Cody would get booed, Cena would get booed, El Grande Americano would get all the cheers. Oh, mate.
They should just have a segment with El Grande accidentally bumping into Heyman. And then he's like, oh, I'm going to kick your ass, Heyman. But I'm not. And now you owe me a favor. And then suddenly we see El Grande Americano appear in the Cody Rhodes John Cena match.
Absolutely. That's exactly how they should book it. I love it.
Gold. Absolute gold.
Anyway,
everyone should just keep asking Paul for favors. It's like all year, and Paul just has this long list of favors he owes everyone. Like, oh shit, I owe everyone a favor.
Yeah, just threaten to hit him. No, I'm not going to hit you. No, you owe me a favor. Oh, everyone in the back just lines up to do it.
Yeah, one at a time.
Anyway,
like near snapping, he flinches, and then it's like, there. Now I get a favor. Oh, not again! For goodness' sake.
Maybe we figured out a plot hole there. So, but
yeah, maybe I don't know. Or the next storyline for the next 5 years.
Yeah, that's just his storyline. Every feud is just the exact same thing.
And the viewers are like, not again, not another favor. For goodness' sake. Favors cancelling out other favors. Heyman betraying everyone left, right, and centre.
My favour is that you don't owe that person a favour. Oh!
1 week you see him backing up Bron Breakker, the next you see him backing up R-Truth. Sided everyone. Good
old favour. Stop giving out favours, Paul Heyman. This is the issue, right? You can say no, Paul. You can say no.
No, it's okay. You do your help a lot of good, I tell you.
Anyway, let's now move on to night 2. First thing I wanted to talk about is this Randy Orton situation. The reason why I think he'll be night 2 is because the first night has 7 matches and the second night has only 6 at the moment, and I'm pretty damn sure Randy Orton's going to have a match. So Randy Orton, I'll take this one. I think obviously Randy's definitely having a match. I feel so bad for Kevin getting injured. I've really enjoyed the build up to this match. Obviously, it started a year or more than a year ago, but it's been like a year build. They were a tag team last year. And then they all built up to this, the betrayal, all the different stuff with Cody. I've really enjoyed the fact that they've told a nice story throughout the year, and I'm very gutted that we're not going to see the payoff. They've been obviously hinting at the punt, hinting at the package power driver. I know he's already done a power driver to Randy, but they've been hinting at another one. But we're not going to see the payoff, which is quite gutting for me. I was really upset when I heard about the news that Kevin Owens is going to be out. He's out for an undisclosed amount of time, and from what I'm hearing, rumours is that he's going to be out until past Mania 42. So, yeah, get well soon, Kevin. Get well soon. We want to see you back in that ring as soon as possible. But obviously, that leaves Randy Orton without a WrestleMania opponent, and as I said many times before, I'm pretty sure he will wrestle, but who? Obviously, we got that segment on SmackDown where he RKO'd Nick Aldis, and then this week on SmackDown they seem to sort of tease a little feud between them. I'm all for Nick Aldis being his opponent. I'm for that. That would be fantastic. I love what they did this week. And also Nick Aldis, I was looking at him all annoyed, and it was like it could potentially happen. But then Solo Sikoa came out, and immediately I was like, oh no, I don't want Solo versus Randy. I don't know why it don't really appeal to me, but I just don't want to see it. I think Solo needs to just focus on the Jacob stuff. Fun fact.
But Solo beat John Cena.
He did. Fun fact, Solo's never had a WrestleMania match. He's been at WrestleMania. He's was in Roman's corner the last two, but I want him still in somebody's corner. I don't want him to have a match this year, or especially not against...
Stay in that corner, Solo.
Stay in Jacob's corner and then double cross him. Do it. But so, yeah.
Paul Heyman favour.
So I don't want to see Solo as his opponent. Other people I was thinking, or that's been theorised by the community, is people like Aleister Black. They've been teasing him the last couple of weeks, but I don't really see that. It'd be cool, but I don't really see it. The other one I had an idea. I told Scott this idea was to have the White Six come out and have Uncle Howdy versus Randy. Because of the history that Randy's got with Bray at WrestleMania. He's the one that got rid of The Fiend. It kind of makes sense. It's there. You could work on a storyline. But really, I don't see it working because you'd have to turn one of them heel. And right now, I don't think it really fits any of them to turn heel at the moment. So to me, Nick Aldis is the thing that makes sense. I would go there. I was excited to hear it. Don't know if you know about Nick Aldis, but he's obviously he's got a lot of wrestling experience. He's been TNA World Champion. He's been NWA World Champion as well. He was at the very first All In before AEW started. He main evented with Cody Rhodes, so he is very, very good in the ring. So I want him to get his trunks back on and wrestle Randy Orton. So Scott, tell me what you think.
Good stuff. He is. Yeah, shame about Kevin. Real shame. Like, I'm gonna miss him. I mean, he's been definitely just an amazing talent on the roster. Like, just love everything he does. It's a real shame, and yeah, it's just a big hit to Mania, and yeah, hope he gets well and returns to in-ring action as soon as he can. But yeah, hope he hangs in there. Agree with everything you said there. So we're kind of stuck with what we got, really. Aside how Kevin and Orton Orton kind of showed Kevin respect in that, which kind of breaks kayfabe, which I know it's real life kind of deal. But, out of respect for the business, if you just want to, just keep kayfabe there, maybe just Orton still go, oh, I hate that guy, I'm pissed off I couldn't kick his ass. Or something just small like that. I think that would have been better. Because, Owens pole drived you in the story. He could have damn killed you. So, in respect to, real life, you could just, for the sake of the story, just treat it in the same sort of fashion. But that's just me. But outside of that, I thought it was very good segment with Kevin. Kind of pouring his heart out, and tugs on the heartstrings, and you feel for the guy. So hopefully he'll hang in there and come back to action soon. Yes. In terms of Orton, yeah, he kind of left with what we got really. I don't mind either way with either Nick or a mystery person. But I guess if you did have a mystery person, they'd have to win. Otherwise, it wouldn't look good for the mystery person. You could have like Malachi Black, Rusev, Uncle Howdy. Uncle Howdy probably be the best one, considering Bray Wyatt's history with Mania and Orton and that. It'd be nice kind of justice to do that. But I'm good with Nick Aldis as well. I think it was just, it's going to be a one and done sort of thing. It'd be nice to have a follow up story with maybe Nick maybe turning heel, be a heel general manager, and there's ramifications across the whole roster. It'd be nice to have a heel general manager again in general, really. It's been a while, but I don't think they're going to do that. I think it's going to be a one and done kind of thing, and it will actually make the match stand out on the card. Having a general manager who you don't see wrestle anymore wrestle, so that'd be pretty cool.
Also, I think it'd be a nice surprise as well, because obviously when you normally have a general manager match, it's somebody that can't wrestle. The fact that it's somebody that knows how to wrestle, that'd be great. Surprise a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. And actually just show people what he's about if you don't know him or don't know about his history there. So it's good on all fronts, really. And you never know, he could just give you a taster for Nick maybe wrestling again down the line, if this works out well. So could be good there. But naturally I'm thinking Orton's winning this. It's just no question. And it does feel like he was going to win against Orton and use the punt, which I've still yet to see since I've joined, since I got into wrestling over a decade ago. I'm still waiting for that punt. Yeah, and I'm still going to wait a bit longer. But there you go. But yeah, I think Orton's taking this one, and hopefully, it should be a good match.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think I gave my prediction, but I think Randy will win as well, because I do think he was scheduled to win against Kevin Owens. Anyway, as you said, with the punt, they teased it. That's the only move we've not seen yet out of all the power drivers. So, I'm there in agreement. I think, Randy Orton will be the winner here. And as I said, even if it's just Nick's one and done, he's only there for one night. It'd be great. Great just to see it. Be a nice surprise for the audience. And I'm all for it.
Yeah, very good.
So the first confirmed match, official match of the night that has been confirmed is Io Sky versus Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship. Scott, do you want to take this one first?
Yes. So for this match, I haven't been feeling this match at all, to be honest. I just really not been getting into it. First off, you're taking Bianca Belair away from the whole Naomi Jay situation. Bianca and Naomi had a great segment there, like revealing Naomi was the one who ran over Jade. I thought that was really good, really emotional. Thought it was fantastic. And even though Bianca does still mention it here and there, just taking her away from it like they have, I felt like, sucked. I thought that could have played more into, like, Bianca could have played between both of those matches, really. I really wanted Bianca and Rhea and Bianca to turn heel, and this could have been a good way to do it. She could still turn heel. It would be a great Mania moment. But just interjecting Io into all this, I feel like it's really screwed things up. I'm not sure if they're just subverting expectations just for the sake of it, putting Io in there. Like Liv Morgan, a lot of fans complained she wasn't getting good enough booking, but after Mania last year, they gave her real good booking. Like, they gave her the world, essentially. They could have done the same for Io after Mania this time, but for some reason she's just shoehorned in here when really I wanted to see Bianca and Rhea. Bianca and Rhea are still ignoring her, even now at this stage of the feud. They think they don't take her seriously. And also, you've had Io be pinned in the match where Bianca was a ref. So in a build for the women's title for WrestleMania, you've had the women's champion be pinned. So terrific building there, just great job. So that sucked. And then Rhea herself, I feel she's just been a whiny little child this whole thing. She's had terrible booking, really, for a while now. Coming off this really stretched out, dragged out feud with Liv. Finally got the belt at Netflix, and we was all like, hallelujah. And then she does nothing with the belt for a month and then loses it. All we're meant to do with that. I know Rhea gave this very nice promo backstage. You see it on the YouTube channel. It wasn't on the actual show. Just, pouring her heart out and says, like, she feels like she hadn't learned her lessons from the Judgment Day. It feels like she's like just keeps making the same mistakes. I'm paraphrasing, but it's really good. It felt, she's pouring her heart out. She felt like, a human being, like you could connect with her, and it could be some groundbreaking, like not groundbreaking, but just good character development for her. But they ditched all of that, and then the next Raw, they just had her come up to Bianca and go, you distracted me during the match. It's a really weak source. It's like, you took your eye off the ball, Rhea. It's your fault. So really, really weak source here. Bianca, I'm just waiting for her to turn heel, really. So Io's felt irrelevant, and she's been pinned. Rhea's a whiny child and whined her way into this match when you could have just had her in the match as champion with Bianca to begin with. And Bianca, I feel like you could have probably got more out of her with this whole Naomi situation, to be honest. So I'm not feeling this at all. It should have been Bianca and Rhea. But if Bianca turns heel, that'd be a great moment for Mania. Then I think she should win. If she doesn't turn heel, probably Io is going to win, just out of, look, I'm relevant, take notice of me. That's all it is, really. And then they'll probably have Bianca and Rhea feuding for either SummerSlam or next Mania or something like that. But I really feel like this was the hot moment to do it. But I would really look forward to seeing a good storyline with maybe Rhea doing some, growth and character development, which would really make her a great underdog against Bianca. Something like that. But yeah, I'm not really feeling this one. But like I said, yeah, if Bianca turns heel, she wins. If not, Io wins. What about you, son?
Just quickly, who's your official pick?
I'll go with Io.
Io. Okay. With me, with this feud, like you, I was disappointed that we're not just getting the initial Rhea versus Bianca feud. And then once, I was very disappointed when Rhea lost the belt to Io. But I think because now, obviously, it's been a few weeks, it's been about a month since this feud started, this three-way feud. I've sort of come to find it okay, I think, because I'm used to the idea that the three of them are facing each other now. And I've enjoyed different elements of each segment, really. I've enjoyed sort of how chaotic it's been, how messy it's been. One thing with Rhea, I agree with you with Rhea, is she's been like whiny in this feud, wanting her own way and whatever. That segment she had backstage, it wasn't even on Raw. It was like after Raw, one of those after Raws that whatever show it is on there on YouTube. It was on that, and that promo from Rhea is probably the best promo I've ever seen. When she was vulnerable, she realised that she's the mistake, like she needs to grow up, she needs a bit of character development, which was fantastic. But then it was so disappointing the week after when she just reverted back to "give me my title match, it's your fault" kind of thing. When literally 7 days ago she said she realises it's her own fault. But yeah, that was very disappointing, very disappointing. But my hope is that this match, like you alluded to, I'm hoping it will lead to a Rhea and Bianca match next Mania. I feel like that's where this is leading. I feel and if they do go there, then I won't mind this too much. It's just like the beginning of the feud, and then they could spend the whole entire year building up to an actual one-on-one match that we've all been looking forward to, Rhea versus Bianca, and I think it could play really well with a growth story for Rhea throughout the whole entire year. She's growing, she's learning, she's realizing that she needs to change her ways if she wants to get back in the title picture. In the meantime, you turn Bianca heel, you give her the belt as she has this dominant run, and then you eventually get to Rhea versus Bianca at the end of next Mania, and Rhea's had all this growth, and her final step to growing fully is beating Bianca at WrestleMania 42. That's what I would do. And also, I don't. Bianca's got this this undefeated streak that she's currently has at Mania. I think they should keep that intact for this Mania, just so, because I feel like it would, if my prediction's right and they feud next year, Rhea and Bianca, if they feud next year, this would give more oomph and make Bianca feel more undefeatable at next year's Mania. So my prediction is that it's going to be Bianca Belair winning. I was thinking EO when you were talking about EO and how she's been shunned, and also the amount of fans that she's got nowadays. Like, people cheer her, people love her. But to me, I want to see Bianca winning. I want to see that Bianca win, and we can go on this massive story with Rhea. People love Rhea. There's no way you're turning her heel. She's making people boo Bianca. Bianca's getting booed, so even more reason to turn her heel. So I would start developing this story of Rhea, making her grow up within the next year, and then her final boss, her final villain is Bianca, who's been undefeated at Mania. She has to go through her, and I think it'd be fantastic. It'd be a great story, and I think it would, even people like you who's disenfranchised by Rhea, it would suck you right back in, and we'd be loving life. So to me, Bianca Belair needs to win this match. Rhea, unfortunately, I feel is not winning at all, no matter what.
Oh, I don't feel Rhea's winning either. No way. It wouldn't make much sense to have her win anyway, considering she just lost the belt. What, you just lost the belt just to win the belt? It wouldn't, and you couldn't really do a character growth sort of thing if she's just beating Bianca like that.
Exactly.
You need to have on a losing kind of thing going there. But yeah, I hope what you said comes to fruition. That'd be really great, and I hope they know that Bianca has an undefeated winning streak at Mania, because then you could really play into that, and then you can make the match all the more better.
I think she has mentioned it. I'm pretty sure she's mentioned it at least once in a random promo at some point.
Feed into that, and go for it, and then build a proper storyline around it.
And also, they must know. Unfortunately, there's like certain elements, especially on social media, people turning on Rhea, sort of like yourself. People are turning on Rhea, so they must know this. Even though she's over as all hell in the arenas, it's very similar, I guess, to like Jey Uso. Like, people seem to be turning on her because of her booking. It's mainly because of her booking. So I hope they do start doing what I said. Just do that. Do that.
I did like Rhea. I did like Rhea, like, beforehand, and well, to be honest, it was the Judgment Day stuff that was really good. When she held the title to begin with, she had a nothing title reign, and then she obviously lost it. And then I just thought the booking the past year has just been awful to her. So this would be a good chance to build her back up, like build her from the ground up, and then have us connect to her as a character, as a person. And just have a, go against the grain of it, have some obstacles, have some challenges, not just a gimmick, mummy's on top. Bring a bit more depth to a character so we can connect to it.
I agree. So that's my choice. That's my opinion is we have that next year. That's the dream match we've always been wanting. We were disappointed we didn't get it this year, but that's only because we're going to get it next year as an even bigger thing. I'm all for that. Like, I'll be happy if that is where they go.
Yeah, bring it on. And yeah, turn Bianca heel, damn it. Turn her heel. Been waiting too long. They teased the Bianca Rhea match after Mania 39. So yeah, they did. This is really stretching.
Right, let's move on to the next match. And unfortunately, I have to go first with this one. Talk about a match I don't care about at all. Like, this might be even worse than the New Day match. AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. For some
And that's saying
reason,
something. Oh my God.
I don't give a damn about this match. Ever since they first even hinted that this was going to be the match, I was like, why are they doing this? And no matter what they do, it could be like the best promo work, the best matches. I just don't care. I don't know why. I've just got nothing, no interest in this match at all. This will be the
How
one
dare
match that
you.
I'm going to just stare at the floor because I don't care. I'm sure they'll put on a great match. Don't get me wrong. For some reason, I don't care. I care more about Karrion Kross and AJ. They've been having this little thing where Karrion is his little devil on his shoulder, and they're going to have a match next week. I'm more excited about that match than the Mania match. Mate, I don't know why.
I
don't
love
know.
the enthusiasm. I love it.
I don't know why. I don't know why. I just don't care about this match. There's no appeal in. I don't see how this benefits any of them. I just don't see any. I don't care who wins. I don't know why. I don't know why I feel this way about this match. Like, God knows. But if I had to choose,
No chance given.
if I have to choose a winner, so I'm going to go with AJ Styles, but literally, I don't care. I don't care. So, Scott, tell us what you think. I know AJ Styles was once your favourite wrestler in the company. I don't know if he still is, but, mate, tell me how you feel about this fantastic, epic match of AJ Styles and Logan Paul.
Well, I'm getting AEW vibes from you right now, where it's just like, yep, it's a match. They're wrestling, but I don't care. It's an AEW styled match. And the fact that you feel that like less interested in this than War Raiders and New Day, that says a lot.
I think the reason for that is because I'm more invested in the heel turn of the New Day. I want to see it succeed. Like, I still feel like they can make something out of that. They can make nothing out of this. No matter what happens after this match, I will still care no less.
Unbelievable, yeah. There'll be no follow up from it. That we won't care about either of them anymore, any less after it. It's an indifference match. This is an indifference match where everyone feels indifference. I still love AJ Styles. He was my top guy for a bit there, but since Triple H and the story's gotten better, you got better guys doing promos and storytelling and that, but still, loving AJ Styles. But yeah, instantly, the first time I heard about this, I was just like, could not care any less if I tried. I mean, I first thought it was going to be a multi-person match. I thought it was going to be like some sort of ladder match that we're both involved in. Earlier on in the build, it looked like AJ was looking at Bron Breakker. I think they teased those two for a moment there, but they had a couple of stare downs, and then they just made nothing of it. And I guess they just changed midway and thought they just have him and Logan Paul, and I just could not find a fuck to give. I couldn't find one. I'm still looking for one. I can't find one. I've run out. There's none there. The Karrion Kross thing, that would be interesting if, AJ hadn't turned heel recently. It's like, is Kross trying to taint AJ to turn heel? He just did turn heel. So it doesn't make any difference. It doesn't mean anything if he turns heel again. I'm more interested in Karrion Kross and where they're going with him. Again, like Carmelo Hayes, another person that's just like, it's criminal that he's not on Mania or, made something of him, done something with him to put him in a place in Mania. I think that's awful. Karrion Kross versus AJ Styles is more appealing than Logan Paul versus AJ Styles. I'd even have Karrion Kross versus Logan Paul, but obviously that's heel versus heel. And I don't think they've even done a very good job building it, to be honest. I don't even know what the story is. What is the story? What are they telling us here?
You're poor. That's the story, isn't it?
That was a hilarious segment, I have to say. It's like, you probably spent all your money to be here just to see me tell you that you're poor. So I love Logan Paul's like character, but that's not enough to grip on. AJ Styles is mad at Logan. I don't know why he's mad at Logan. I don't know what's going on. It's incredibly forced. It's just there for the sake of being there. I think Logan Paul could have a number of opponents that's better, really, and have a better story. Also, the fact that Logan is part-time doesn't help. But that's where his opponent would, come in and try and sell the story and, give good promos and that. And unfortunately, AJ isn't on a good enough level to sell the match on his own whilst Logan's away. So, yeah, this is just nothing really. Do I see Karrion Kross being during the match? Probably not. Is AJ Styles going to be as vicious as Kross wants him to be? Maybe, but probably won't turn heel. There is nothing to gain here. It's just a match on the card. And the fact that we don't have matches like the SmackDown Tag Team Champions defending their belts on the card, and we have this instead, I have to say it's pretty disappointing. And I could say the same about the next match after this one. But for this one, probably AJ. I'll go with AJ on this one.
Just quickly, because I can't remember. Did I say AJ?
I think you said AJ.
So you
could go either way, to be honest.
Goes to show how much I care. I didn't even sink in who I picked. But now I've decided I'm actually changing because there is something to benefit out of this, actually. Give Logan Paul the win. That's my prediction. Because then AJ Styles and Karrion Kross can feud properly. So Logan Paul wins. Done.
Okay. And I guess if Logan wins, maybe it'd be good for him if he faces another bigger opponent, a top star or something like that, maybe, if you wanted to do that, because Logan's a special attraction. So the next time you see him, I guess having a win, his last match be a win, probably be good for him. But it depends on what his next match is going to be. I don't know. But I guess for now, I'll stick with AJ just to make it interesting.
Okay, and I'll go with Logan. But yep, I don't give two craps about that match. But moving on to the next one. Who went first? That one. I went first. So this one, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Bayley and Lyra. So for the women's tag team championship, the cursed championship, as you said earlier. Let us know what your thoughts are about this match.
I guess the no fucks given train is carrying on. We're moving on to the next match. I give no damns about whatsoever. And again, a very forced match put together. Easily the natural way to go was maybe have Bayley versus Roxanne Perez. I don't know what the fuck they're doing with Roxanne Perez. She's just losing left, right, and center and not being put in anything meaningful. Lyra Valkyria, your women's IC champion, not defending the belt. I don't know what's going on with the mid-card women's belts. They shouldn't have made those belts if they had nothing planned for them, and should only create those belts when they're ready to have something planned for them. And they already had Bayley and Lyra tear through the entire women's tag division, or what bare bones division they have, just to reach this point. So even when they win the belts, or if they win the belts, I haven't decided yet whilst I'm talking, who their opponents would be if they were champions. They've already run through everyone. So they just go off into obscurity, as you do with the women's tag belts. And Liv and Raquel, I feel like this is just for Liv's sake that they have the belts. They just want to, keep the fans happy. Look, Liv's still relevant after everything she's done the past year. She's still a champion. Look, she's still with Judgment Day. Whatever that's worth. This was not worth a spot on the card. Again, you could have had, if you restructured the card well enough, you could have had a better match than this, fill this spot. And I don't care. I don't care at all. I don't care who wins. I don't care who loses. It means nothing to me. Nothing. I do not care about the match. It's a bathroom break match. I had to pick a winner. Liv and Raquel to retain, I guess, because I just don't see Lyra Valkyria being a double champion. Just don't see it. And probably it will lead to, they teased Bailey being conflicted a bit, so maybe it'll lead to Bailey versus Lyra, which could be something good for Lyra, because right now Lyra is as entertaining as piece of toast. So it'd be good if they had a bit of a feud there and, get us caring about Lyra. So that's probably the best way to go. So Liv and Raquel retain. What about you?
So let's go into this, because I found this quite my opinions to this match has changed over the last week. So like you, before the last week, I gave two craps about this match. And I saw loads of people theorising that Liv and Raquel was going to face Alexa and Nikki Cross, and I was sitting there like, how the hell are you going to get that to happen? Like, they've not even had Alexa on TV for years, so or the White Six. How the hell are you going to have them suddenly together? Like, you need to tell the story of Alexa joining the White Six. How the hell are you going to have just them two suddenly 3 weeks away? Suddenly teaming up and face it didn't make sense. So I knew it weren't ever going to be that. And I'm glad it's not, because that would have been rush job United.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad that weren't the case. But yeah, so Liv Morgan and Raquel as champs, they've probably been the most interesting champs, but that's just because I think, as I said earlier, they're part of the New Day. That's the only reason. Bailey and Lyra. Now, Lyra, I didn't care about for the longest time. Like, ever since they really introduced her, all we knew was she was Becky's friend and Irish. That's all we knew. But I will say that Bailey and Lyra match on Raw really did impress me. Like, that's probably the first Lyra match I ever watched. I was like, I'm actually quite into this. I like this. Normally I'm not. I think maybe Nia versus Lyra in the Queen of the Ring final, maybe. That was another one. But for a long time, this was the first match I cared about. And I liked the little bit at the end where Bailey sort of walked off annoyed, but then turned around and hugged. And then they've now joined as a tag team and done the gauntlet match, and they won the gauntlet match. And I enjoyed the gauntlet match. So I'm actually quite interested. Not overly interested, but a little bit. More interested than I was before. So yeah, I'm actually a little bit excited about this match. Only a little bit, not much. At least I'm more excited about this than AJ and Logan Paul.
That's crazy to me that you're invested in a Liv Morgan, Raquel, Bailey, Lyra Valkyria match over AJ Styles and Logan Paul.
I agree with you. What the hell happened to who am I thinking? Roxanne Perez and Bailey. They were doing like a little sort of feud. I thought they were going to face each other at Stand and Deliver, but no, that sort of dropped. But I've enjoyed this. Over the last week, I've enjoyed their two interactions, so it's sort of made me a little bit invested in this match. But I don't think Bailey and Lyra will win. I think Liv and Raquel will retain. The other thing I will say about Lyra's title reign is she has defended it a couple of times, maybe in matches we don't care about, but she did. She defended it against Ivy Nile not long ago, and then obviously Bailey this week. So I'm not too mad that she's not got an Intercontinental Championship match at Mania, because she has just defended it. Unlike Chelsea Green, who's not defended her one in like 100 years. So I'm not too mad.
This next SmackDown probably against Selena Vega or something like that.
I did see what happened on SmackDown. I know I got up to that point where it was Chelsea versus Selena, so I don't know how that match ends. So I'm assuming it sets up another match.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. But
yeah, obviously that's not on Mania, so who cares?
Nobody cares.
But yeah, so I'm going to go Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez for this. I will say congratulations, Lyra and Bailey. You made me a little bit interested this week. Keep it up. Keep it up. I need a bit. I do with Lyra. I need a bit of character. Like, you got this bird gimmick. Give me some of that. Give me some of that.
Bit.
And the woo in her entrance. She's got the chant to go with her entrance. Like, she's got it. They just need to do much more with her storyline and character-wise. That's what they need to do with her. But I can see it. I just need them to focus more on that sort of stuff. So, yeah, to me, Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, yeah. Are we ready to move on?
Yeah, let's move on. I mean, that is going to be a period like the start of night 2, man. I'm just not going to feel the start of night 2. My gosh. Outside of maybe Bianca turning heel. Oh, gosh. You'll probably feel it more than me. Like, you'll get into it more than me night 2. But my gosh.
To me, it definitely seems like night 1 is the much bigger matches at the moment. Obviously, we've got 3 more matches to go through.
Yeah, let's see with those ones, yeah.
So next one is Bron Breakker versus Penta versus Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio. I'll go first with this one. The build has been a bit all over the place. First, we thought Bron was facing like 100 different people, but then it all equaled to this Penta, Finn, Dominic thing. At least they've focused on this for a little bit. I think really the main storyline right here is Finn and Dom. They've been teasing this whole, we need another person. No, we don't. We don't have no leaders, but we need another person. No, we don't. Like this little thing between Finn and Dominic. It's been going on for a long time. You know, there's going to be a split coming at some point. That's the main story for this feud. Bron, his IT title run, I don't think it's been great. It's not really been memorable. I don't really remember. Apart from Ludwig and Sheamus, has he really done anything outside of that? I can't really tell. I can't really remember.
I don't think so.
So he's not been like the most dominant guy. Love him to bits. He's fantastic in the ring. His spear is what he did to Carlito, and still my favourite of all time, what he did to Speed in the Royal Rumble. Oh mate, he's brutal. So good. Penta, fantastic. His debut, everything since his debut on to now, I think has been grand. Fantastic. But I think this is mainly about Finn and Dom. I think that's what this all leads down to. And I think this match is going to end with Bron Breakker doing a spear onto Finn Balor. And as Bron goes to pin him, Dominic comes from behind, throws Bron Breakker out of the ring, pins Finn for the title, and Dominic Mysterio becomes the Intercontinental champion. That's what I think is going to happen. That's what I want to see happen. Huh?
That is such a specific ending.
Yeah, I think really that's the only way you can really go. It makes Bron look strong. You protect Penta because he weren't even involved in the ending, and then you start the Finn and Dominic feud going forward. And as I said to you earlier about the what match was it where we were saying about the El Grande Americano and his reveal on the Raw after Mania, you do the split up of Judgment Day on the Raw after Mania. That's when Finn confronts Dom, and then it's a big thing. And then you have Dom and that attack Finn at the end of the show, and there we go. It's a big split. Turn Finn face, done. And then also the other thing I like is the look. You have Dom with a belt, you have Liv with a belt, and you have Raquel with a belt. The three of them, they're sort of like their own unit, ain't they? So I'm all for it. I think this makes sense. I think it's time for Dom to get an Intercontinental Championship. He deserves it after everything he's done. I think he's been like one of the most amazing heels they've had. He's well over as a heel. People love booing him. Half the time it's too much because I'm like, just let the man speak. But I think nowadays they add that boo into his promo because they know it's going to happen. But to me, I think this is the perfect way to end this match. And you can bring Bron Breakker up to the World Heavyweight Championship if you need to. I just think it's perfect. And it does what we all want. We finally split up the Judgment Day and we get that feud that they've been teasing for ages between Dom and Finn. That's what I'm all for. So I'm going to say Dominic Mysterio wins by pinning Finn and he becomes our new Intercontinental Champion. What about you, lad?
Nice. That's a very good theory there, son. Very good theory. still waiting for AJ Styles to be included in this because I saw AJ and Braun stare at each other, and I'm waiting for Logan Paul, and we have this ladder match. Somehow, it got completely rewritten. I don't think this was planned at all. This was last minute. I don't think they knew what they were doing, and it kind of just naturally, after a certain number of weeks, it went, "All right, we'll just do this. Okay, We'll just go fatal four way." I don't think this was in the plan at all. But we could get something out of it between Finn and Dominic. Very weird build. Very weird. Bron Breakker just is not being taken seriously at the moment. His first title reign was just him bigging himself up, and the first time he defended the title, he lost. Jey Uso. His second title reign was better. Great match between Sheamus and Ludwig. Sick match. I'm loving triple threat matches nowadays, which is why I'm especially looking forward to the Roman Reigns match. But again, just very weak title reign. I don't think they're taking Braun seriously enough. At least he's on the card, for the love of God. They could have easily forgotten about him the way they've been booking him. I think this will be a good match. Obviously, a bit of oversaturation on the multi-person matches, but I think this should be good. The Finn Balor Dominic element really sells it. That's the main central point of it that we're looking for. I still feel like there's a chance that Penta could be taking this. I feel like WWE might be on a binge of giving the middle finger to AEW kind of deal. I feel like they want to push the guy. They stole their guys and they want to push them up just as a fuck you to AEW. You look at Ricky Saints on NXT, he's already the North American champion. I can see them definitely doing the same with Penta winning the belt at Mania, which isn't completely out of the realm of possibility. They have been pushing him pretty hard since he's got here, really showcasing him. And obviously Rey Fenix coming to SmackDown. I think they're going to push him pretty hard, and they'll be like, haha, you got your guys, AEW. I feel like there's a bit of that going on, which is why I feel like there's more of a chance of Penta winning. I think your storyline, Dan, actually is better. I think that would be a lot more, finally giving us what we desperately desire, and is a breakup of the Judgment Day, because it's been going on way too long. Ever since Priest and Rhea have left, they've just not been the same. They've just been so weak.
And think about the pop that would get if you saw Dom run in, throw Bron out. The pop would be massive because people have been wanting to see it for so long.
Yeah, definitely would love it. I mean, I hate that they changed their entrance music. Like, they removed Alter Bridge and the big wings and the Titatron. They just feel so generic now. So either you split them up or you do something, shake him up a bit. And I would love to see Dominic be the new leader, because I like that it feels kind of full circle, considering he was recruited by them and he's just worked up the ladder to become the leader. I think that would be pretty cool and fulfilling. And see him be a champion, no less. And then see what you do with Finn Balor as a face. For obviously, they'd face each other first, and then see where they go from there with Finn. Even though I would miss Troll Finn, because he's just been such a troll the last few months to his own crew. So that's been hilarious. I would like to go with what you said, Dan, but I just feel like they're going to give it to Penta. I feel like they just want that big moment. And it's just, we got this AEW guy that we're pushing, and we're going to give him the belt. Not saying that they could not still do some story stuff with Finn and Dominic, like they kind of cancel each other out, and then it would lead to a fallout on the Raw after. Not as satisfying. It'd be better if Dominic had the belt. Plus, like you said, he has been working very hard. He's definitely deserved it. But just an inkling, I think Penta's going to take this one, I feel like. And then I don't know what they do with Bron Breakker, because I don't think the booking of Bron has been nearly as good, which is a shame, because he is such a beast, and he's not bad on the mic. And that spear to Carlito, that shakes me every time I look at it. It's just so awesome. One of the best spears ever. But yeah, I think I'm going to go with Penta on this one, which quite different to what you said, chap. So that makes it interesting.
The thing I see with Penta though is, remember there's a draft, isn't there? There's normally a draft shortly after Mania.
When is that?
Maybe
Is it
I
after?
think last couple of years it's been just after Backlash, or was it? Has it
Right.
been just before Backlash? And then they're like, "Oh, these take effect just after Backlash." I think that's normally what they say. But
Oh
I
yeah,
could
was it a
see,
Backlash last year? It was they were all like dud matches. We thought these were pointless matches because we knew everyone was just going to be shook up by the draft afterwards.
yeah.
Well, this made it pointless, the pay per view, because we knew we was all going to.
They
Shake
might as
up
well
with
do
the
it the
draft.
night after Backlash. But yeah, this is.
Yeah.
I would rather they do it just at the Raw after Mania and the SmackDown after Mania, so it's like all fresh, brand new, and it feels like a brand new season. But what I would do, what I think they're going to do with Penta is they're going to move him over to SmackDown, and we get the Lucha Brothers very quickly, and they'll probably beat the Street Profits. That's what I can see them doing with Penta.
Do you think it's a weird decision that they had Penta on Raw and Ray on SmackDown?
To introduce you to them separately, I think, and then
Yes,
because this match this week, I've got to say, this match on SmackDown between Ray Phoenix and Berto, that was so good, so good. I'm not normally into like proper high flying matches, but this match, beauty. Best Berto match I've ever seen, anyway. I could see them doing that and doing that quite, and that's the big middle finger by giving them the tag titles against Street Profits, because Street Profits are heel still, I think. So
I think so.
I could see that happening.
I'm very worried when they bring Penta and Ray Phoenix together that they're going to get forgotten about because they're just terrible with their tag division. But hopefully, with them, it will really shake things up.
It's potential, mate. Potential. Just sit there and think. Right, you're going to have Penta and like the Lucha Brothers versus Street Profits. That would be a good match. Like the matches would be great. You think them be a good match? Then versus Motor City Machine Guns would be great. The New Day, War Raiders. Like if you actually put a storyline behind them, like the match quality is no question. Just put a storyline behind them. Jesus.
That's the thing. Well, that's our issue with AEW, isn't it? There's no issue about the wrestling whatsoever. Well, there's started to be a bit of an issue with the wrestling AEW, like after Dynasty.
It's just same-ish. I don't know. I just put a variety of matches on.
Yeah, but we get it. No matter the company, everyone can wrestle. We get it. It's the story that matters.
Story and character. That to me is the main thing for wrestling. Is it needs story and character. Wrestling is number 3 on most importance to me.
Because you could have a good match until the cows come home. But if you want to get emotionally invested in it, you've got to put the hard work into the story and the character. Then you can really connect with the people involved in that match. But otherwise, you can just swap out wrestlers with X, Y, and Z. You could just have anyone, anyone you don't care about, any Jack Jones wrestler, and just watch the match. Why is it this specific person I should care about that's wrestling?
But then again, Lyra has sort of turned me a little bit with her rest. But then it might be because she put a great match on and then they had that little moment with Bailey and her after the match. So it does include a little bit of a story. Maybe that's what got me over the edge to care a little bit. I'm not sure. But yeah, to me,
that
it's
will
definitely
fizzle out though. You won't care about Lyra in like a few months if they carry on the same way they've been going.
Oh yeah, they don't give her a character or an actual story. Jesus Christ! Maybe this Bailey thing will develop into a Bailey heel turn, and we get a proper story there. Maybe, I don't know. They need to do something anyway.
Yeah, she definitely needs that.
So maybe that's what the case is. Maybe that's why they lose. Bailey turn heel on Lyra. And then, maybe have Bailey win it at Backlash. Because I feel like these international champion, Intercontinental and US belt, they do need some names, like star power on them as well. So if you give it to like a Bailey, who's an ex-world champion and all this sort of stuff, it sort of brings the value up.
Well, a great matchup I thought they could have done for Chelsea was Trish Stratus. I mean, they
yeah.
had them hover around each other around Elimination Chamber time and thought this might carry on into Mania. No, she just disappeared after Chamber and nothing
Instead we get Selena,
followed.
but also that
Yeah.
Selena story, that I got a little intrigued there, but I don't know. I need more, much more. We need more stuff rather than just attacking each other after the matches. Like we need more story elements.
Promos.
Yeah.
Why can't Lyra get more promo work, for crying out loud? Just practice a bit, you know. I mean, when the Shield came, you think Seth and Roman were great talkers? No, it took time. It took practice. It took a long time, but they got there.
As I said, I feel like Lyra. She's got the package. Like she's got the song, she's got the in ring skill. Like yeah, it's just the character. It's just the character and prize. Give us. She's got the gimmick. She's got the bird gimmick. Like, come on, give us something. Yeah. Say she's like the ancestor. Like she's got this specific bird in her veins. What to give us something?
Some crazy shit.
So moving on to the next match. I don't know how we got there.
We're still hyping on Lyra.
How we got there after that triple fatal 4-way. So that fatal 4-way, you said Penta, I said Dom. Just quickly.
One more thing. I'll say you go.
I was going to say, do you feel it's time for Dom to win the belt?
I do think it's time for Dom to win the belt. I do. He's overdue. I think, was it the other year Dom won the NXT North American Championship for a bit?
Yeah.
It's like, well, that's something, I guess. But, you know, he's worked damn hard. I think he's earned it. And it could be interesting. Would you keep the Judgment Day together and reform it, or would you just split them?
I would have Dom bring in a new person, like he kept saying. We need a new member. So he kicks Spin out, become the head person, and bring somebody else in. I was thinking while you were talking about Bron Breakker, what should they do with Bron Breakker? I was like, well, you continue that feud of him and Dom to Backlash, but Dom is like, we need a new person. And then you debut that new person at Backlash, and that's how Dom beats Bron in his rematch by introducing whoever this new guy is.
I guess you could.
And then that again protects Bron Breakker. And also, you've introduced this new guy. Yeah, Dom win his match against Bron. Like to me, it makes sense.
I'm just trying to think who you could bring into Judgment Day.
I don't know. When is Bronson Reed? When is he back? He'd be a great person to chuck in there. You need a big guy, I feel like. A big hench. Monster kind of character.
A problem with giving up Rhea and Damien was those are your two, like, signature people in the group, really. I mean,
they're your monsters, basically.
Yeah, once they're gone, the rest of the group kind of crumbled. So you need big players in there, like monsters in there. Sort of. Bronson Reed would be good.
Rusev.
Ooh, yeah. Alistair Black.
He's on SmackDown now because they've been doing these promos on SmackDown. But imagine Rusev has got the build that I think we need, like the big dude build. Alistair Black is quite lean.
Yeah, but he definitely falls into the gimmick, like this dark kind of gothy gimmick. I think he's. I
don't think that's what Judgment Day's got anymore.
Certainly lost it a bit, isn't it? The dark, the purple, that sort of thing. I mean, it definitely had it more with Rhea and Damien.
But it'd be great if they brought Miro, and then you have Miro versus Bron Breakker at whatever's after Backlash.
To think the group started with like Edge and Rhea and Finn.
No, Priest. None of the original members are in Judgment Day anymore.
They're not, are they? No. And now it's ended up with Carlito and Raquel. Jesus Christ. To think Edge started the group, that's insane to me. But I think you need at least two new people to make it a formidable group. And Rusev would definitely be a good fit for that one. Personally, I feel like Aleister Black would be a good one, but yeah, he's on SmackDown, so I don't know who else could join.
I would rather, because I think he's too gothic. I'd rather he just do his own. One thing I'm very interested in is you're going to have the White Six and Aleister Black on the same roster. Two creepy gothic characters. How is that going to blend? I have no idea.
Can you imagine the match? Uncle Howdy versus Aleister Black? It'd be like Goth Central. You might have to have a stipulation, a weird, spooky stipulation for that match.
Oh, no, people don't like that stuff, mate. Remember the pitch black match? People were complaining about that crap.
Is that the one with LA Knight and Bray Wyatt?
Mm.
Well, it was weird that they were glowing the way they were.
It was like a glowing. It was a glow in the dark kind of match, wasn't it?
Funky disco match, but that ending to that match was sick with those characters, like it was Five Nights at Freddy's or something like that.
I tell you what, I don't know if people know, but Bray Wyatt is probably my favourite wrestler below Stone Cold. But the fact that we'll never find out what was the story continuing from that, because obviously Bray at the end of that match become this. It's not that he weren't the Fiend, but it was like a new character with a mask and all this sort of stuff, and we never got to find out any of that, what any of that meant. It's so gutting. As a Bray Wyatt fan, it's gutting, and still to this day, when you see people talk about Bray Wyatt, and especially like when the White Six were coming about and they had all this cryptic messaging, a lot of people were wondering if they were going to incorporate that character that Bray played at the end there. But no one's like got a name for that character. We don't know nothing about it. It's a shame. It's a shame.
It pisses me off even more that, the White Six is just like supposed to be homage to Bray, be the kind of group that Bray and his family couldn't be. Like, Bray was booked all over the place, like just terribly. Every time he got a rise and was working up the ladder, the booking just did him in. White Six was supposed to be the antithesis of that, and it's like they're doing it for Bray and getting good booking and that, but now even they're getting crappy booking to the point that we hardly see them.
Where have they gone?
So it's just this whole thing with just, no matter what family member it is or who's doing what gimmick or anything, none of it's been done justice enough. It just sucks. It just sucks.
I could go on a massive rant about it, but probably could do a podcast just solely about this. But you know about my feelings. I feel like they're wasting the White Six. Whenever they come back, they need to do them justice, because otherwise it's going to be a complete waste of time. They need to, especially with now you got the Alexa Bliss integration. Like, when they come back, they need to be so solid. The booking needs to be so solid. It's unbelievable. Like, they can't waste them again. They just wasted them.
Yeah, they've got to get with it. Especially after that intro where it looked like they basically murdered everyone. We haven't had nearly that kind of vibe since they come back. Or since they've appeared. Like nothing like that.
It's so random. I don't know what they've done, but hopefully they come back after Mania and we can actually talk some positive things about them again.
Here's hope.
But yeah, let's move on to the next match. Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre. You go first about this one, and this is a Sin City street fight.
Glad they added the stipulation. I think that really helps the match stand out. We was all hoping for a stipulation, so I'm glad they did that. And it feels Las Vegas themey, Sin City, but it's basically just a no DQ match. It's like they always add these fancy names to these matches. Still wondering what the Bloodline Rules match is exactly, but I don't think we're ever gonna really know what that is. It just feels like a no DQ match.
Oh no, they've added Bloodline Rules matches to WWE 2K25. It's just
okay.
And the definition in 2K25 is the interferences. In the Bloodline Rule match, you can include 3 different interferences that you can press the button any time and they'll come out and help you. And the same with your opponents. So that's all that Bloodline Rules is the interferences at the end of the match.
Weak sauce, man. Absolute weak sauce. Gosh.
If you don't know, everyone, me and Scott had big issues with the Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns match at WrestleMania 40. So we are sometimes in the very minority. Right, that our opinions of that match, we're in the very, very minority. It wasn't the match itself; it was how the match was billed and the fact that it wasn't what we don't understand why it's called Bloodline Rules match when they made it seem so sinister going into that match, and it seemed like Cody had no issues in that match at all.
No, here you are, Rock promising like anything could go. You could have Solo singing the national anthem, like
Yeah, The
all
Rock
sorts
could
of
be
antics
special guest
going.
referee. Jimmy could be a ring announcer, but they did none of that.
It was so important. You had a whole tag match on the first night, deciding whether to have the Bloodline Rules match or not, and then you get to it on night 2, and it's just like any other Roman Reigns match, and Rock is just chilling in the back until he appears at the end. So what's the difference? What's the point of Bloodline Rules? It doesn't add anything. And just watching it was very deflating because it's just like, a repeat of Mania 39. And I think a lot of people just rely on Taker and Cena appearing or just thinking it's a great match. And that's just nostalgia bait, in my opinion.
And everyone has said it should have been Stone Cold at the end, not Taker. But obviously Stone Cold wasn't available.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. That moment with Reigns deciding whether to hit Cody or Rollins with the chair, I thought that was like chef's kiss storytelling. I thought that was brilliant because it's like Reigns cost himself the match because of his issues with Seth. But I don't think that was enough to justify, Bloodline Rules and all that build up and Rock doing Jack until the end.
Let's move on.
I know we're getting distracted by all these things we can rant about. Yeah, I know. Crazy. How did I get on this? Oh, yeah, the stipulation. Yeah.
Again, I think that whole Bloodline Rules could be a whole podcast. We could go on for 4 hours about it, but let's continue. Let's try and get this predictions done.
Yeah. Predictions done, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't think this is the match we wanted or needed. We was hoping for like Drew versus Roman. I think that would have been a lot more investable. Drew even said at Royal Rumble, it started with you, it's going to end with you. And it does kind of feel that way since Drew came back and did the heel turn. It's like all related back to Clash at the Castle. So very weird direction for sure, but not entirely like it makes sense because of the history and Drew laid it out very clearly. And yeah, it makes sense. Damien's always been there when you've been screwed over. So it's not like it's completely out of the blue. It's just, it feels like a bit of a step down for Drew. Good for Damien, but a step down for Drew. But I think they've done well in this feud. I actually wanted Drew to wear an eye patch all the time. I think that's a good look. Solid Snake. It just gives like Snake Eater vibes. Love it. Or what's his name? The Governor in The Walking Dead. I think it's just really cool. But then he took the eye patch off this past SmackDown. It's like, oh, you're ditching the eye patch. Shame. But yeah, hard hitting, very good. Been back and forth, doing good promos on each other. I think this last face-to-face and SmackDown wasn't very good because it just turned into a brawl. They didn't actually exchange words. Like Drew said some stuff. I wanted to hear Damien say some stuff and, retort back to each other because they're both good promos. And I think they would have been very good in an exchange and it would have really, really added to the match. But it turned kind of into a brawl. And we've seen them do brawls throughout the match, throughout this build anyway. Saying that, though, I think this did enough to make me care and did a good job as a Mania build. I'm very much invested in it. Drew got the upper hand this week, so I'm assuming Damien will get the upper hand next week and then Drew will win because I think Drew should win here. It means more for him and Damien. I mean, what, you can have Drew have a weak appearance at Rumble and Chamber and lose at Mania? That'd just be awful for Drew. Whereas Damien, I think he'd be all right in losing, and you can just build him up from wherever he goes from here. So, yeah, looking forward to this. Hope I see some cool Las Vegas-y like antics. Should be fun. And yeah, give Drew that win, man. What do you think, son?
Yeah, I'm in agreement. Like, this weren't the match I wanted Drew to have. I would rather he face Roman, but maybe we'll get that down the line. I think we'll definitely get to that match at some point. I like the fact that this is again has been sort of a year build, and yeah, the fact that it's a street fight is great because it seems like it's really the only one with a stipulation, isn't it? Obviously, we've got like triple threats and fatal four ways, but nothing like there's no cage matches. There's no anything else. It's just really the only one. So I'm excited for it for that way. It's going to be hardcore. They're going to be brutal with each other. I've really liked the feud since they've started this. Once they've sort of announced that it was going to be these two rather than Drew versus Roman. I've enjoyed the feud. I think they've explained well why they're going to be facing each other, what the motivations are. I think it's been very good. The fight that went out into the car park and the glass of the eye stuff, really good stuff. I really like this brawl, this segment that they had this week. I thought Damian Priest's selling was fantastic after the aftershock, future shock, DDT, whatever it's called.
It was all wide-eyed, wasn't he?
Yeah. That looked like Priest actually muffed him up big time.
Yeah. And he took his necklace, I think, didn't he, Drew?
Yeah, I think Damien now needs to be off TV till Mania just to sell that look. I'm torn about the winner because I think it will be Drew in a way because Damien's beaten him twice. And Drew hasn't won the match against him. I think, Damien beat him obviously last year at Mania when cashing in, and then he beat him again because of CM Punk at Clash at Castle, was it?
It was Clash, yeah.
Yeah. So, but I do feel like this would be a much bigger win for Drew than for Damien than what it would be for Drew. But then I'll try and think about this next year, and I'm like, what are we going to do? Like, we need to give Drew, I feel like, a title at some point soon. One of the world championships. I'm not sure from who, but you're going to need to do that at some point soon. Damien, I don't know. I don't see I don't see you need to push him up the card as much. So, like, you could give Damien, the Intercontinental United States Championship at some point. Drew, I do feel like needs a world title. So, I'm going to go with Drew just because I feel like you need to push him up the card a bit more. But I do think Damien would definitely get a lot more from it. But Drew does need it just to secure that he's going to have a good year going up. And also, Priest has got 2 wins over him anyway. So, yeah, looking forward to the match. Looking forward to hardcore. I think they're going to be smashing each other through tables and stuff. I'm looking forward to this. This should be a nice sort of palate cleanser from all the multiple matches and whatever.
No, right. We need to, cleanse ourselves of that. I mean, Drew's one of my top guys, man. He did so good last year with Punk and all that. He's been really putting the work in the last couple of years, really, since his heel turn. He definitely deserves the world title. Probably most likely the Raw title, but a big title nonetheless. And just hopefully they give him that, and he just has a good, decent run, really. Just hold up a sign: if Drew loses, we riot. It's like, come on, man. I get what you're saying about Damien and that, but it's just like, gosh, Drew just hasn't looked good this year, man, has he? He hasn't really. It's just this build is probably the best he's looked. But let's see. It's all in the booking. See what they do with him after.
Absolutely. So, anything else you've got to say before we get to what you would class as the proper main event, and I would class as the second main event?
Oh, by the way, I found when Damien hit Drew into the car and CM Punk passed by, and smirked and then walked away. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, that's a dig. That was a dig as well at AEW.
What you think so? I didn't think about that. What, the real glass thing?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
That's what I thought it was anyway. Obviously, the smirk
Multi-layers.
was,
Love it.
I had a big rival with him, but yeah, also I think it was the...
Love the multi-layers. Love it. See? Multiple middle fingers towards AEW. WWE's loving that. I wouldn't be surprised if Penta got that championship, I tell you.
We shall see. We shall see. Are you ready to talk about the main event of night 2?
Main event. Yes.
All right, so I'll get... All right. I can't remember whose go is what.
Remember who's in the main event? Is it Ray and El Grande Americano? Who's in the main event?
It should be El Grande Americano. Right, okay, let's do this then. So, Cody Rhodes versus John Cena. I'll go first with this one. So, I think this is probably the biggest match you could probably do if you think about any match that you could do for Mania 41. This is the one that makes sense. When I first heard,
if you don't have The Rock.
Yeah, because they don't have The Rock. If it was The Rock, it should be The Rock and Cody or The Rock and Roman. But the fact that it's not that. When I first, because I remember this was rumoured ages ago, and I was sat there like, do I like the idea of Cody Rhodes and John Cena? I guess if you're going to get John Cena the 17th, somebody like Cody, I wouldn't mind him winning it off of. But I would have hated it if he won it off of, say, like Gunther or something like that. Because Cody's just on the top of the mountain and it wouldn't really hurt him much. However, as we all know what happened at Elimination Chamber, I remember going into that event and I was... Well, actually, at the Rumble, I thought Punk was going to win because I had that big tease of Punk and Cody on the SmackDown before, was it? Or the Raw before? And I was like, that's set up for Punk to win. Like, but obviously he didn't.
It's 2 years in a row now they teased that. Two Rumbles.
Exactly.
That.
And then I thought, they'll give Punk his main event. He's been here for over a year. Obviously, that's not what happened. And then when we were going into the Elimination Chamber, I was like, it's either Punk or Cena, but they're doing the selling the soul thing. So whoever wins it is going to be selling their soul, clearly, because everyone knew Cody wouldn't be selling his soul to The Rock. So you knew whoever's going to win the chamber. The fact that they did this at the end of the show, The Rock revealing who sold their soul, they did it at the end after the men's chamber match. You knew whoever won the chamber match were most likely selling their soul to The Rock. So I knew it would either be Punk or Cena. I don't think there was anyone else in that match I could have possibly saw win it. Maybe Drew on the side, but...
Are you saying you anticipated the heel turn on the night?
Well, I did say to you, remember, we, me and Scott, we spoke about it before, but we were sitting there going, we don't see it happening. We don't see him turning heel. But like, it would be great if they did, but we don't see it ever happening. However, Cena won, and he won it in sort of a heelish gimmick, heelish way, where obviously Seth Rollins did the curb stomp to Punk, and then you saw Cena's face like, oh, I could win now, let me quickly chuck that on, kind of thing. Quite heelish, not the normal Cena way. And then when the cage went up and Cena was still in the ring, then Cody came out. I was like, okay, there's the main event. Come on, Rock. I was sitting there like, Cena, stay in the ring. If you stay in the ring and The Rock comes out, I think we could get the heel turn. And then The Rock came out while Cena was still in the ring. And I was sitting there like, oh my God, is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? And then I was like, I was sitting there, Cena will just be gone from the ring by the time The Rock gets to the ring. Nope, The Rock got in the ring and Cena was still there. And I was sitting there watching Cena like a hawk. I was sitting there like, I couldn't take my eyes off of him. I was like, is it going to happen? And he's over the top selling of everything that Cody was saying made me go, I think it's going to happen. I think it's happening. And then when it finally happened, when they hugged and The Rock, Cena did his face to The Rock. I remember I was laying in bed watching it. I sat up. I couldn't help. On my mouth, a gasp. Sat up, watching. I couldn't believe my eyes that we were finally getting it. And then the beatdown on Cody was fantastic. Brutal, blood everywhere. So good. So damn good. And then we get, obviously, 2 weeks without Cena, everyone theorising what's he going to do? Is he going to wear suits? What's he going to do? Is he changing? They didn't change him. I don't know whether because the plan wasn't that Cena was going to turn heel and they had all this merch that they had to sell. So they were like, we're going to have to still sell this merch. Let's figure out a way to have Cena still wear this crap. I'm not sure what the reason behind it is, but at least they gave Cena, in his first promo back as a heel, he told us why he's still wearing the merch. And I buy the what reason is because he's not going to give in to what we want. That's his whole thing. He broke up with the fans. The fans are a piece of crap in his eyes. They abused him, so he's no longer going to give us what we want from him. Because for years he gave us what he thought we wanted, but we never wanted that. It was great shit. And then I had the second week where I was like, okay, I like the whole, I'm going to take the title and walk away, I'm going to ruin wrestling. But it was sort of the exact same segment where you had Cena cut into the crowd and then Cody comes out at the end and Cena just walks away. It was the exact same thing. But then we got the War of Words promo, what I like to call the War of Words promo between the two. And this was great. Great back and forth. Really cutting into each other, saying the stuff that we've all wanted to say. And it was great. However, we didn't get the Rock side of things. There's still a lot missing in this feud. However, hopefully next SmackDown we'll get some of these answers. But I've really liked the feud so far. I think the feud is fantastic. Made me feel things I've not felt in a long, long time with wrestling. The Cena heel turn, but it was sort of an out of body experience for me. I was almost in tears because of seeing it. I couldn't believe it. So for that reason, John Cena has to win this match. I don't care what people say. John Cena needs to win this match. I think it'll be I don't know, will it be a good match? It will be a good storytelling match. I think they're going to slow it down, sort of do the Roman Reigns, Cena slagging the crowd off while beating down Cody, that sort of stuff. But yeah, I'm just so excited. I'm so excited for this match to see how it goes, to see what Cena's heel ring persona is going to be. But I feel like it has to go to Cena. I can't see the benefit of it going to Cody. The only reason why I think Cody could win it is because of the little hint that Randy did with Cody, where he said, like, once you beat Cena, I'm going to come and I'm going to tell you face to face I'm going after that title. I'm not going to come from, I'm not going to, whatever he said, low blow you to tell you I'm going after the title. I'm going to do it face to face. But we know he won't. He'll turn heel on Cody at some point. But I don't see that happening for a while still. So I'm going to go with John Cena. I think you've got these big matches that we need with a heel Cena. We need a Cena CM Punk match with the roles reversed. I feel like we need a Cena Randy Orton match with the roles reversed. And I don't know, I was saying to you before, Scott, that I think that Cody should get his win back from Cena, but should he? Or should he give it to somebody else? I'm not quite sure. But I do feel like we've got backlashes in Orton's hometown. I feel like that needs to be Cena Orton. And you do that in the main event. And then Money in the Bank, you do Cena Punk, just to sort of go back to their classic match at Money in the Bank years ago. Like, it just makes sense. It all there lines up, and I want to see it. If Cena didn't turn heel, I would not give two craps about a Cena Randy Orton match or a Cena and CM Punk match, because I feel like what we got in the chamber was a good callback between the two. But I want to see that crap, and I feel like we're not got Cena long, and put him on top while he's heel. Like we've always wanted to see this. We've got it now finally. Give him everything because we've only got this heel Cena for a few months. Like, I don't see him even when he finally gets to the end of the year. He's going to turn face. I don't see him retiring as a heel. So we only got him for a few months. Give him the belt. Have him have a heel run up till SummerSlam or heel champion run up till SummerSlam. Give it to somebody else, and then you can start that redemption storyline until he retires. But to me, it needs to be John Cena, 100%. It just makes sense. There's so much benefit you get from giving it to John Cena rather than Cody Rhodes. And if you, as I said, if you told me this when Cena announced that he was coming back, I would have laughed at your face. I wouldn't have wanted to see this. But this Cena heel turn moved me so much, and I've really enjoyed Cena's heel stuff since that I really want to see it. This is the best we've ever seen Cena. Give him the belt. Give him his 17. This is the best way to do it. That's what I feel. So, yeah, sorry about the passion there, son. But yeah, what's your thoughts, Scott? Let us know.
Loving the passion, son. Loving the passion. Well, something about me. I guess I'm a quote-unquote Cena hater. I said previously I probably didn't join wrestling at the bestest of times because it really got into the height of the shitty days with Vince and Super Cena running through everyone, burying through everyone, and always childish promos and all that stuff. I'll give him credit where credit's due. He's had the odd moment here and there, the odd promo here and there. You know, he's no more of a douche than you would say, like probably a Triple H or Orton or Shawn Michaels. But you know, they all mature as they get older, as as time passes. So you know, I'm not losing sleep over it, but you know, there was many days of frustration and suffering under Super Cena rule. So not an easy time. So a lot of time begging for him to turn heel because it would be like refreshing. Other guys could rank up the card and take, the face spot. I mean, it was all right there, but they teased it. Remember that promo he did where he said, "I don't know about turning heel," and he literally was like moving his heel on the ring. He's like, "Shit, man, you're shoving it in our face." But yeah, like tough times, man, tough times. So when he said he was going to do his retirement tour, obviously I wasn't feeling it. I was like, gosh, it's going to be an insufferable year. It's like, really just not looking forward to it whatsoever. But then they did the absolutely unthinkable, and I can't even describe the emotion, like what I was feeling then. Like probably Dan said it best, out-of-body experience, just flood of emotions, so much frustration over the years. So much just like, hitting a blank wall. You feel like, the company would get it by now that people were not feeling Cena, but they kept shoving it down your throat. And you just want him to either go away or turn heel. So for him to actually do it, it was like, at first it just felt like I was dreaming. In fact, like the first few days after it happened, it felt like I was dreaming, like this was some weird weird interdimensional other realm I've entered. Like this is not fathomable. This is not possible. But like when it happened, I bloody marked out of my seat, man. I got out of my seat and was just going, yes, yes, yes. At every blow he struck at Cody, it was incredible. Easily the best Elimination Chamber pay-per-view as a whole for me. With that being the main reason, like just seeing that face, Cena's face over Cody's shoulder, Rock doing the finish him sign, and then he just destroys the man. Weird having Travis Scott there. I mean, that's just that they haven't followed up on that whatsoever. I would not, like, one of the biggest moments in wrestling history, and you have Travis Scott there. Very weird. But other than that, absolutely perfect. Absolutely loved it. And yeah, now I was a lot more on board with Cena. for this run. He's a lot more serious, a lot more direct, not playing the kiddies games, and he's showing the best of his promos abilities. Still, of course, he's a shit wrestler, but, you know, like Dan said, we have to have the story make it work, and I'm sure it will, since this is your biggest story. Well, quote unquote, like I said, the Reigns match is the most developed story on the Mania card. This has been more of an interaction battle between Cena and Cody, really. Just finding out their motivations. I don't think really much has happened story-wise, like, has anything progressed. It's just like, we're waiting for the match, really. And just hope we just get some good, you know, promo exchanges. But maybe something will actually happen at SmackDown. Maybe The Rock will appear, or we'll learn more about The Rock and his involvement in all this. That's definitely a missing jigsaw in all this. The feud itself, if you're looking at Cena's last year and you're turning him heel, probably there's been some missed opportunities here. I personally would have changed his music. I would have changed his attire, you know, make the most of it. But I'm probably the fan that, you know, Cena is exactly putting the middle finger to. He's like, I ain't changing for you. So probably he's saying that to me. So I'm not oblivious to the irony of that. But, you know, just for entertainment's sake, you know, and just, you know, it's his last go. You want to make the most of it. I feel like you should have just like gone all out and have like a different gimmick for him. I get the reason why, but it does feel more just for the sake of business and corporate. You just want to sell merch to do it, which I think is just, you know, lazy and just business obsessed. And besides, you never know, the Cena and the new gear you sell for his heel gimmick, that might have done really well, and you've been able to sell that. I don't know. Who knows with these things? But the feud itself, I feel like we could have got more out of it. Like, I feel like maybe we could have done a bit more physically. That second Cena promo definitely felt just a bit more of a rehash of the first one. And his reasons of like, I'm going to take the belt and ruin wrestling. He's like, he ain't ruining anything, and I'll just make a new belt. So he's not really changing anything. But it's probably going to be one of the most memorable feuds I'll ever remember. It's definitely got some of the most memorable moments I'll ever remember. The turning heel moment, the first promo, and that interaction with Cody we just had was incredible. One of the best promo exchanges I've ever seen. And it took way too long for that to happen. They should have been hot right out of the gate, in my opinion. Like, get Rock and Cena out, versus Raw, establish what's down, and go from there. I feel like it has been a bit stretched out, us waiting to see what would happen. But, you know, again, we still got one more segment to go. So that will be, hopefully, just another great moment to add to the feud. So I feel like they could have got more out of it, but we did get some incredible stuff out of it as well. And, you know, we still got the rest of the year to see heel Cena and go from there. Maybe there'll be a bit more physicality on the final SmackDown. Maybe we'll get the Rock explanation. Minimal chance of Rock appearing, although I'd bloody love that. That'd be so good. I don't even know if Rock's going to appear at Mania. If Rock doesn't appear at all, and he's not at Mania, I think the whole Rock part was a waste of time. And you could have just had Cena turn heel at the Chamber, and all his explanations would still make sense. So, you know, I think the whole stuff with Rock, you know, the past year has just been insulting. And I just would keep Rock off television for a while if this is the sort of stuff they're doing, you know, with Netflix and all that, and him being buddy with Cody, and then we restarting their hatred for their feud again. It's just makes no sense. But yeah, just it's incredible that we're at this point. We have a heel John Cena. It still feels weird to me after like several years dealing with his crap. It's unbelievable to me. And, you know, that's just for me. I can't imagine, you know, longer fans for decades dealing with this shit. You know, it must be even harder for them. So, what an incredible time. And if Cena can turn heel, anyone can turn heel. So yeah, I'm still in shock and awe. Unbelievable to me and Dan that this has happened. So I would definitely have John Cena win this. I was totally against him having his 17th win as a face beforehand. It's like, what is the point of this? Just for a number. But as a heel, we can make something out of this. Like, have a good title run. I think Cena has a bunch of dates scheduled after Mania as well, which could indicate that he does win the belt, maybe. I don't know. But I would definitely go Cena with the win. I don't think there's much to gain from Rhodes winning. I do think Cody is going to face Cena again because, you know, he's their latest top guy. They want Cody to topple the big giants, you know, the top opponents, you know, the other former big guys, Lesnar, Reigns. They'll want to knock Cena off as well. So I feel like Cody will get the title back from Cena. But all I'm hoping for is that get a heel Cena versus Orton and a heel Cena versus Punk. If I get those two feuds, you know, I'm happy. Is he probably going to beat some new talent? Probably. Which as a face I would have been dreading, but as a heel, you know, I'm more accepting of it. I'm just very interested to see on where this all goes, how heel Cena would do. So let's just make the most of it. And then Cody can just have a bit of a redemption arc, you know, he falls from grace, he builds back up, and then he can get it back from Cena. So yeah, that's what I think. How it will go down, or expect it to go down. I don't know how the actual match is going to go. Should be interesting since it's Cena's first heel match. I don't know if The Rock's going to be in it. I don't think Cena's going to change his moveset much if he isn't changing anything else about him, but let's see. But yeah, it should be a very, very interesting match. But yeah, what a time to be alive. What a time to be alive to have heel Cena. If you asked me, like, you know, several years ago, that if like one day we'd have heel Cena versus the guy who played Stardust, I'd say you're flipping out of your mind. But here we are, and yeah, I'm in for the ride, and I'm loving it. So good. Let's see Cena get that win.
Absolutely agree. And I just was thinking about a moment in the match that they should do where Cena does his moves of dooms. He does the shoulder barge. Cody goes for a throw, turns. Cena puts him on his back. Then he goes for the 5-knuckle shuffle. And you know, he normally puts his hand up all excitedly. He puts his hand up and then turns it and middle fingers the entire audience. That's what should happen. That's what should happen.
What, you mean like in Okada in AEW where he does the thing, and then gives the middle finger? That'd be like Cena doing that.
and then he just walks it instead of runs to the right.
Oh, brilliant. That would be
he should try and, with his moves that people know, he should try and sort of heal them up.
Absolutely, yeah. Like, not get them cheering, like slow down your moves, you know, as heels do.
Yeah,
but
I think, yeah, I'm in agreement there that Cody probably should be the one to beat him, because if we don't get The Rock wrestling against Cody, like Cody needs his win against The Rock, but if The Rock ain't going to wrestle again, then I guess Cena's the next best thing. You get Cena beat him, and he gets his win against Cena. But I wouldn't give Cody, whenever he gets the title back, I wouldn't give him a long title reign like we currently have.
A year again. No. Wouldn't have him win.
But yeah, I think we're both in agreement there, saying about it all. Yeah, we both want to see Cena win. Yeah.
The only benefit I can see to The Rock keeping his involvement in this is if it might play as a chapter of Cody and Rock's story later on, I suppose. I mean, say they main evented next year, Mania, then you go on the history, like, you can imagine the video package just like, the history of 40 Mania. Oh, he tried to sabotage him again, sending Cena after him, and now look this year, or something like that. weak sauce. We still probably would have just had Cena just turn heel for the sake of it without Rock, but
I
we'll
do
see how it
think
goes.
they need to sort of start being careful with Cody as well, because I've got a feeling if we get in, like Cody's already main evented the last 3 Manias. How many more main events could he do without people saying, "Okay, can we start pushing somebody else now?" sort of thing. So I do feel like we need to calm down on him over the next year or two. The one thing you were
Yeah.
saying about the Stardust, I think I've said this to you before, and I want to tell everyone else. Whenever you turn Cody heel, have him as Stardust, because I think, because of how crazy he was as that character, I think that would go so well. Just have Cody lose his mind that he ends up back as Stardust, and in this new sort of era where he can push the limit, I think he could do great stuff. Have him as a violent, painted dude that's just going around bloodying people up and stuff.
I'd have to see how I feel about that one. I don't know, especially someone in his position. Usually the crazy funny gimmicks are usually lower on the card. Having it at the top of the card.
Well, I wouldn't have it. I wouldn't have it funny. I'd have it serious, sort of gimmick. I wouldn't push
I
it
guess
how
so, yeah.
Vince pushed it. I would do it like as a proper threat, kind of a man who's gone insane, kind of sort of like a Joker, kind of thing.
We'll probably do that without the makeup. We'll probably like have him just go crazy. You could change his attire.
Because I
Not
like the
wear a
ideas
suit.
of giving him because he used to wear the contacts and stuff, didn't he? It was like black and red and stuff, like make him like a dark demonic version of Cody.
Yeah. You could have a mental craze version. You could change. I mean, yeah, it doesn't have to be a version. You could tap into the Stardust sort of vibe, sort of thing. But you could probably make it work with his because eventually he's going to turn face again after that, and it'll probably be a bit weird of him being face and then going to Stardust and then going to face again. He's just going like changing between those. But seen weirder things. He could make it work. I like Cody. I'm a fan of Cody. I just don't like this kind of face of the company. I've never liked the face of the company booking kind of for anyone because I just don't think it's needed or works.
The other thing
well.
I'm interested in is who's going to be Cena's final opponent, because apparently the final one is going to be, is it a Saturday night's main event in December? That's his final appearance. Who's going to be the man that fight, like the final person to beat Cena? Because I'm assuming Cena will lose that match, and obviously I think by then he'll be a face. So who's going to be the heel that beats him? We shall see.
I'm assuming he won't have the belt by then.
As I said, I'd have him lose it at SummerSlam, because I'd rather him stick the whole title reign as a heel, and then you start the redemption back to being face from SummerSlam to the end of the year. Because that's only a 4-month window.
Yeah. That's why they've got a bunch of dates like assigned to him after Mania. I'm assuming it's because he'll win the belt and that you just go full throttle with the reign. And then I think there's a bit of a gap between May and August, or June and August. So maybe June he takes a break, and then it depends on when SummerSlam is, but I'm assuming it's like August.
Yeah, it'll be the beginning. It'll be the beginning of August, because I noticed on SmackDown that late August is that Clash in Paris. So I'm assuming they won't have SummerSlam like a week or two before that. So I'm assuming it's early August. Could be wrong, but
okay. Well then, yeah. I mean, it could be around that June time that he might lose it, and then he could take a break, maybe. But like you said, he could lose it at SummerSlam as well. So it should be interesting where they're going to go with it. But it does feel like all signs are pointing into him winning it.
Hopefully. So, the other thing I was going to say, Cena is scheduled, I believe, for the Raw and SmackDown after Mania. So, very excited to see where they go. So, because this has been a long podcast, let's quickly go through each match just to name who we picked, and then we could end this. So, first match, we No, we were separate, weren't we? You said Tiffany, I said Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
And then we both said Jey Uso will beat Gunther.
Yep.
And I believe we were separate. You said Naomi, I said Jade.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we both said the New Day. It will beat Raw Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
Did we both say LA Knight? Yeah, I think we did.
Yep.
LA Knight will retain against Jacob for 2 with Solo interfering.
Mm-hmm.
Rey Mysterio. You said Rey Mysterio, didn't you? So Rey Mysterio, and I said El Grande Americano.
Yep.
Just to remind everyone, that is not Chad Gable. Poor old Chad.
Mm-hmm.
He's not got a Mania match again.
That must be quite the cold he's having if he still has it now. Damn.
Bless him. Bless him. Roman versus CM Punk versus Seth. I believe we both said Seth.
Yeah.
Yep. Io Sky. Oh, actually, no. After that, we spoke about Randy versus whoever. We both believe it's going to be Randy.
Mm-hmm.
And that plays into why I was saying I think Randy's going to win that match, is because I believe he'll be the first one to face Cena after he wins the belt. So makes sense why you'd have him win the match at Mania, and that's why also I don't think it's going to be a debuting someone, because I don't think you'll want him to beat a debuting someone. So makes sense in my eyes to have it as Nick Aldis.
Mm-hmm.
So we both said Randy. Io versus Bianca versus Rhea. You said Io, I said Bianca, didn't we?
Yeah.
So we are separate on a few of these. You said
I always
AJ
think Bianca
Styles.
wins if she turns heel, but just to stay true to someone, I would go with Io. So yeah.
And we got AJ Styles and Logan Paul. You said AJ, I said Logan, because I switched.
We are a few different, aren't we?
Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, I think we both said them.
Yep.
You said Penta, I said Dominic in the Fatal 4-Way.
Mm-hmm.
We both said Drew.
Mm-hmm.
And we both said Cena.
About 5 matches or so we differ on.
So there will definitely be a winner of who has the most predictions correct after this.
Good stuff. We'll see who calls the most, yes, and is the winner.
So, so that's everything, everyone. Now, I know this is a very long podcast, but that's what these are going to be. Just to let everyone know. Well, I think we're planning on trying to get one of these done a month. Because we ain't got much time where we can actually spend time talking to each other. Both got families, full-time jobs and whatever. But about once a month we could have a good long conversation, and we decided what we're going to do is turn that conversation into a podcast so everyone else can listen to us. Because I think our conversations are very good, very interesting. I think people would enjoy listening to our conversations. So that's the reason why we're starting this podcast again.
Yeah. And this was fun. I really enjoyed this. It's good getting it all out there and giving our thoughts. I can't wait to do it after Mania.
Yeah. We had a couple of faults which you probably won't know about because I've edited them now. But we'll
teething issues.
We'll try and get on as soon as possible after Mania. We'll try and make it not too long. Maybe try and get one done in a couple of weeks, just so Mania's quite fresh in our mind. But yeah, after that it'll probably be about once a month after that. So we'll try and get one done in a couple of weeks, if that's okay with you, Scott.
Yeah, it sounds good to me.
We'll try and be as soon as after Mania as possible, basically, so that we could get our thoughts on that, and then we could build, or I don't know, talk about whatever's going to happen in the new season of WWE until next Mania. So yeah, very much enjoyed this. Is there anything else you want to say before we end this?
No, I think we've covered the whole Mania spectrum, and there'll be plenty more to talk about going forward. So I really enjoyed this, and till next time. Yeah,
so thank you, everyone. Just make sure you like this podcast and everything. Do what you can. Also follow me over on TikTok. I do daily wrestling videos of news, reviews, just thoughts and opinions. Go over there and follow that. You get daily videos from me. And yeah, until next time, until after Mania, and enjoy Mania, everyone. We'll speak to you then.
Enjoy Mania.
We'll speak to you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.